Live from Provost Humphrey Stadium on the campus of Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas, it's Southland Conference football on ESPN+. Today, the renewal of a rivalry that stretches back to 1951. Hi, everybody. Dan Gresham along with Lemont Williams. It's the Lamar Cardinals and the SFA Lumberjacks. And as I mentioned, these two teams playing their 36th time, Lemont, but the first time in quite a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. They're back here in the Southland Conference, and it's homecoming. Lamar is coming off a bye week. You know, they're rested and ready to go. The Lumberjacks knows this place very well. We'll see how things play out here in Beaumont, Texas.
And it should be interesting, too, because there are a lot of similarities with these teams. They got the same record. They are 3-2 on the year. Lamar will come in, though nationally ranked, at number 22.
Yeah, Lamar needs to be able to get off to a better start offensively, though. Even though they're home and at homecoming, they're ranked. They need to establish their offense early and often in the first quarter.
All right, let's talk about a couple of players you're going to want to keep your eyes on. And we'll start with the visiting team. They have a gunslinger as far as quarterback goes. 3 years at Montana, transfers here, and Sam Vidlac is all that and more.
Yeah, all that and more with the high-powered offense. They produced over 600 total offensive yards. He threw for over 300 yards with 4 throwing touchdowns. And you know, once that arm gets going, you got to watch out.
On the other side, we'll watch the passing game, but it's really pretty much based on the run because they have a guy in Kalen Griffin who can get it done.
Yeah, Lamar needs to be effectively on the outside as far as running the football, using Griffin, the senior out of Tyler, Texas. He has to establish himself. Watch the offensive line. They've inserted some new players this week. We're going to see how things play out in the first half.
Promises to be a good one. So the coin toss complete. Lamar wins, and they will receive the opening kickoff on this 12th day of October that, well, doesn't exactly feel like fall in Beaumont, Texas. No. 89 degrees under clear skies. Keys to the game, Lamar, you got to start quick on the offense, don't you? And you've got to finish in the red zone.
Absolutely. They got to be able to get the offense going early and often here in the first half, receiving the ball. Let's see how things play out.
Fake the reverse. Keeper down the right sideline for a big gainer before knocked out of bounds is Xavier Coleman. Nice way to start things off for Lamar. We're talking about keys to the game for SFA. They've got to put some pressure on Kalen Griffin, shut down the running game, and not give up field position like they did. Wow, the helmet comes off.
Yeah, that was an excellent job there by the freshman Coleman. You know, you want to establish yourself on offense and defense, but you can always get help from special teams. Good job there by Coleman as he's pumped up right now, celebrating on the sideline with his teammates.
And, well, he should be after that return all the way back out to the 39-yard line. That's where Lamar will go to work. Robert Coleman at quarterback swings it out, hits Isaiah Jones, and Jones will be good for a solid pickup to start. There's a look at the offense for Lamar. As we mentioned, Coleman, Kalen Griffin. You see Savon Ray, the leading receiver, Isaiah Jones, Fusilier and Gibbs at tight end. Then up front, some changes. We'll get into that. They've had a couple of injuries. They've had to switch some things around. As for SFA, they run a 4-3. Sometimes it looks more like a 5-2, but it's just kind of the variations on the theme. Coleman going deep. Can't imagine we won't see something on that. No flags. There's a look at the SFA defense up front. Austin Bobino Potts, along with the linebackers who Josiah Cotton, very strong, number 14, a standout.
We'll keep your eye on number 0, Jerome Brown. He's their emotional leader on defense, leads the team in tackles, and also their inside linebacker.
So no flags on that deep throw, and that'll bring up 3rd and long.
Good shot there, Jerome Brown out of Mansville High School, Mansville, Texas, just a little bit outside of Houston. It's a homecoming for him as well.
Coleman feeling a little pressure. Almost hits 2 receivers with 1 throw as it goes in and out of the hands of Fusilier. And Lamar will have to punt this one away despite that good field position to start.
Yeah, let's take a look at this replay here as we watch Coleman steps back and go through his progressions. Just anytime you have 2 receivers in the same area, somebody's running the wrong route.
Yeah.
And then right there, you can see the confusion at the end of the play as the tight end looks back at the receiver in the first 3 and out for Lamar, which we're talking about, them kind of keeping the chains moving. Right now, they didn't do it on that first series.
There's a look at special teams for Lamar as Chase Leon gets this one off. About that. Nice tackle that time on special teams. And that'll set SFA up to go to work. We've got already a little chippy out there.
Yeah.
Got some fighting going on. You didn't see it, but a flag down. We're going to have unsportsmanlike. We'll see if it goes both ways.
I believe it's going to be on number 1, Andre Dennis. He was on the punt return. On the punt team. And he was running around without his helmet on. That's an automatic flag there. The junior out of Beaumont, Texas. So maybe it'd be against Lamar here with his first flag.
Yeah, that's kind of the body language that you're seeing on the sideline and also out on the field.
You can see him drawing with the players as the Lumberjacks offense prepare to come on the field, but you cannot run around without your helmet on. It's safety first, and that's a no-no in this game.
And you don't want to give SFA anything, but I think he's going backwards instead of forwards. Maybe it's just where they're marking the ball. I'm talking about the umpire, but there you see the referees working this game. James Brookhart, the referee. Then it's Kelvin Woodburn, Richard Walters, Trent Brown, John Teague. Joe Sparks is the side judge. One more look at that. Yeah, you cannot continue the play without a helmet. I think it may in your mind seem like, hey, I'm putting in the effort.
Foul, kicking team, personal foul, receiving team, illegal participation on number 1, receiving team. All the penalties will cancel, and we'll replay 4th down.
So offsetting, and they will replay the 4th down. So the punting team will have to come back on the field, and Dennis will try to secure his helmet a little better this time.
I hope so. You can tighten up that chin strap and make sure that he's able to run down there and make a play without losing his helmet this time around. And if you're the Lumberjacks, you're chopping at the bit. Offensively, we talked about them throughout in the opening. Over 600 total offensive yards last week. That's impressive.
Coming off a big win against Northwestern, 59-17, as you mentioned, while Lamar, on the other hand, had a bye week.
Yeah.
So they've been off for a couple of weeks. Australian-style punter in Colum Edens.
Another flag.
And Lamar recovers the fumble after the flag. I don't think this one will take much time to adjudicate at all.
Now this looks like it's going to be against Lamar as well.
So you would expect, rather than starting off at the 10, yeah.
Is that Dennis again?
Yeah. Back it is.
Kick catching interference by the kicking team. Penalty is 15 yards from the end of the kick. Automatic 1st down.
You would think, Dan, he will lay low on that play, right?
Yeah, you would think so. I want to slink off. I don't want to be seen again, but instead, we'll put SFA at the 21-yard line for their first offensive possession. I don't think he really tried to hit him. You can see he put his hands up and tried to go off to the side, but at the same time, you've got to give that circle. You can't interfere with the catch. So Vidlak will go to work in the shotgun, immediately throwing, and completing his first one to the speedster on the outside. You have got to keep an eye on all these receivers. That's Blaine Green. He played. And the other thing about SFA, so many transfers, Lamont, and so many of them in big D1 programs. Baylor, Oklahoma State, that are playing here, and some like Blaine Green, 3 years, and with the Cowboys up in Stillwater. But we have a penalty.
Keep your eye on the Lumberjacks tempo, Dan. We talked to Coach Rosamondo earlier this week, and he talked about tempo coming from the Lumberjacks. They want to speed the game up. They want to spread you out and speed it up, and they want to make sure Lamar's not ready defensively.
1st and 10, throw, swing it out, yes, again into the flats. This time going to the other side to Kalen Harris, the junior out of Reserve, Louisiana, third season at SFA, first catch of the afternoon. There's a look at the starting lineup for SFA. We mentioned Sam Vidlak, but don't take your eyes off of Cullen Jones. He's a pretty good back in his own right. He gets the carry, but Lamar's ready for that one up the middle.
Yeah, good stuff there by Lamar defensively. Group tackle there. You want to be able to play gap assignment football, be able to stand in the gap and be able to not give it any running lanes. They did an excellent job on that play there for the first running play by the Lumberjacks.
Jack's offensive line, 6'7", 6'7", 6'5". So they've got the size up front. There's a look at the Lamar defense. Catch made at about the 38-yard line.
Keep your eye on number 99, Caleb Williams. He's their gap plugger for Lamar at nose guard, number 99. You can see on the graphics there. He's their playmaker, and they're All-American in the Southland Conference as well.
Oh, breaking loose down the sideline, cutting back in. That will be a touchdown if we don't have any flags thrown. Don't see any on the field. So SFA straight away going to the air and finding success.
And Dan, it didn't take long. That's what happens when you have an explosive offense coming on the road in a hostile environment because it's homecoming. Watch this replay here. As you get it in space, then you just make a play. Be able to cut back in like that and just take it the distance for the Lumberjacks. Excellent job there by number 4, was it Harris, to be able to give the Lumberjacks their first touchdown on the road on homecoming in the afternoon.
Didn't take long for the Jacks to get on the board as they find pay dirt, and the PAT is almost automatic. All right, so both teams have had their first possession. One walking away with points, the other shut out. Got more coming at you. Stay with us. You're watching Southland Conference football on ESPN+. Homecoming weekend in Beaumont, and the fans can't be too excited about the way this one has started as SFA managed to go 36 yards for that touchdown, but a total of 74 yards, 5 plays, and they have the fans sitting on their hands here as Lamar will get their second possession of the game, and we're only, 4 minutes in? Let's check in with Bob Slovak, the third member of our team, down on the sidelines. Bob?
Hey, Dan, first of all, let's give you a weather report down here. It's 87 degrees. The humidity only in the high 40s, so for Southeast Texas, not that bad. Bright sunshine, though, so the temperature here on the field about 10 degrees hotter than that. It is homecoming here. A lot of alumni, former players in town. The 1989 team will be recognized and honored today. That was the team right before the football was disbanded here at Lamar. Of course, they brought it back almost 20 years ago, but those guys are going to be recognized. That was a roller coaster season. I know many of them. We will talk to them later on in this game. Coach Rossomando, he wanted his team to start fast. They've won all 3 games here at home this season. The last 2 in come from behind fashion. That's exactly what's going to have to happen today as the SFA high-powered offense has already put 7 on the board. Dan?
All right, thanks, Bob. Yeah, leaving up to their reputation is SFA. How about this? Swinging one out into the flats that time for himself is Coleman, as he manages to find Britton Simmons, the freshman out of Jasper, true freshman, picks up the first down.
Lamar has to be very careful, Dan, and what I mean by that, they have to be able to be strategic when it comes to offense, moving the ball down the field and be able to take control of the time of possession. You want to be able to control the clock here, keep that high-powered offense on the sideline, and be able to utilize your players to be able to move the ball down the field.
Looking for room, but nothing there for Savon Ray on the reverse. And looks like
Coach Rossomando talked about earlier as well, Dan, this week, to establish himself effectively running the football, but also establish himself on the outside edge. Consecutive run plays or pass plays where we see on the outside edge. They want to put pressure on the safeties early and often, and right now they're trying to find a way to do that in this first quarter.
Coleman with motion. Gives it to Griffin. Got some room on the outside. He'll pick up the first down before being bumped out at the 40-yard line. You don't think necessarily of Kalen Griffin as being a perimeter runner. I think of him as a straight-ahead, up-the-gut kind of guy.
And when in doubt, give the ball to him. Take a look here on this running play here. Gets the block, get a counter blocking there by his receiver, but bounces to the outside. Normally he runs north and south up the middle, but he was able to bounce it outside and get the first down for the Cardinals.
Finally pushed out by the linebacker, but not before picking up that first down. Coleman back to the air. Finds his intended receiver, Savon Ray. And now Lamar mounting a drive of their own following that touchdown.
And I mean, it's impressive. I'm like what they're doing. They're countering the effort there from the Lumberjacks, putting up the first touchdown in the opening drive. Going to Ray, their playmakers, where they need to be when Coleman needs to get his development and get back into the groove of being the quarterback here coming off that injury.
Looked like Lamar was tempting to go up-tempo, but had to wait for the official to set the ball. Now in motion, Coleman is out. That's Longino, who really is kind of the running quarterback. They're a pair that have played for Lamar so far this year, and Coleman and Jacoby Longino, the junior out of Missouri Senior. But he is pretty much known as the running quarterback.
Yeah.
Not that Coleman can't move, but he's got a little quicker than the senior.
And they switched it up. They went with Longino on that one. He got his first career start a couple of games before this one because of Robert Coleman's injury to his leg. And Longino is a dual-threat quarterback with a design quarterback keeper to be able to continue to move the football. And there's a timeout. It looks like they're by the Lumberjacks.
So timeout called. We'll take one, too, as we get this one rolling. Again, SFA on the board quick, up 7. So Lamar facing a 2nd and 6. Just outside the red zone. Coleman in the shotgun, sends one in motion. Looks across the middle, going down the sideline into the end zone. Juggled and dropped out of the end zone by Isaiah Jones. They're going to call that a touchdown?
Yeah, they actually call it a touchdown.
I got to believe that if you're an SFA, you're going to review that one.
Well, let's take a look at it right here in this replay. Send the player in motion. Robert Coleman goes with the play action pass, going deep. Let's take a look as the ball comes down. Gets bobbled there. Guy has control of it, Dan.
Well, I mean, but there, by the time he brings it into control, he is out of the end zone. But SFA, I kind of had a feeling this was going to happen. You can't let this go.
Yeah, they're going to challenge that Jones.
Because the question is, did he have possession, and was he in the field of play? And Kobe Carthel has been doing this long enough as a coach. He's not going to let that one slide.
Yeah, but
there's Carthel right there in his 6th season at SFA.
And if on the other side, if you're Coach Rosamondo, you believe that Jones came down with the football at 6'3". He bobbled it initially, but he got control.
Stephen F. Austin is challenging the ruling on the field of a touchdown. Previous play is under further review.
Let's take a look at it again ourselves here and see if we can kind of, from maybe another camera's perspective, see what you think.
This is a wide
I'm
shot
not
here.
doubting whether he had, but okay, he's 1 foot, but he did not have possession. He steps out of the back of the end zone. He's still juggling the ball. I don't think there's any way you can rule that a touchdown.
Yeah,
you do not have possession.
Well.
So that should be coming back. We'll see what the officials say. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the answer right after this. Once again, that play under review. There you see the referee, James Brookhart. Taking their time.
Actually taking a little bit more time than anticipated.
In some conferences, you can go back to the conference office and have a number of that does not working inside the Southland Conference this year. So the decision made by the replay official here in the stadium.
What a first couple series for both teams. I mean, you knew Stephen F. Austin was going to come with that high-powered offense. There's another shot at the replay here. Play action pass by Coleman. and just goes up in the air. You want to be able to give the ball to your playmaker, Isaiah Jones, at 6'3", throw it up high, and see if he wants to make a play. And we're still waiting on the replay from the officials, or the official call on that last play.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about the concentration on the part of Jones. He watches the ball all the way in, but it's just he can't get possession before he steps out of the field to play. Rather lengthy discussion. Here's the call.
After further review, the ruling on the field is overturned. Incomplete pass. Stephen F. Austin has retained their timeout. It will be third down from the 26-yard line. Lamar.
Win-win for the Lumberjacks. You get to keep your timeout, and you didn't have to give up 6 points.
Smart play there by the head coach to be able to call their replay, and just trying to confirm it, and just got the confirmation there from the official. So if you're Lamar, you still want to be aggressive offensively here. Focus on getting the first down, though. They wanted a shot at the end zone, didn't work for them on the last play. See if you can go back to Jones and pick up this first down on third down.
Maybe you go to Kalen Griffin. You haven't seen him really with the kind of rushes you would expect to this point.
You can definitely see the Lumberjacks are in man coverage right now, so you want to take advantage of that, especially at the top with Jones man-to-man against the cornerback.
Yeah, change at quarterback. They try to zip it in to Jones, goes in and out of his hands, and will be intercepted by number 20 for SFA.
Well, I predicted them to go one-on-one, take advantage of the one-on-one coverage to Jones, but I did not anticipate Robert Coleman throwing his first interception. Take a look at the replay here. Led Jones out just a little bit too much, but at the right place at the right time. The safety there, number 20, looks like Mullen for the Lumberjacks to be able to get that gift and that interception. First turnover for the Lumberjacks on the road here in Beaumont, Texas.
It looked like Coleman, unlike himself, kind of a sidearm throw and just went in and out of the hands, and that will kill the drive for Lamar. So back on the field comes Vidlac and SFA, and off to the races. They go on the ground this time instead of going to the air with Cullen Jones. We mentioned the junior out of Cedar Hill, played the last 4 years at Baylor before coming over to SFA.
Take a look.
Give him a little room.
Yeah, take a look at this replay here. Go with the speed option out of the shotgun formation to Jones to pick up the first down.
Another big run, this time on the right side. We knew coming in SFA was a high-powered offense. But this time they go to Blaine Green, the receiver, to pick up yet another first down.
It's all about tempo. And right now, the Lumberjacks control the tempo on the road and the time of possession. Watch this play here. Just a swing pass out to the receiver in space to be able to get away from the defenders. Great blocking up front by his teammates to be able to help him get the first down.
Vidlac looks over to the sideline for the call. Again, a three-year player at Montana, transfers this year and has had nothing but success at quarterback. Hands it off up the middle to Jones, and he'll be good for 5.
It's difficult right now for Lamar Cardinals. Offensively, they had the 3-and-out, then they had the turnover in the second series. Now defensively, they're on the field quite a bit, and with this up-tempo is really putting a lot of pressure on that front seven.
Vidlac swings it out, finds his intended receiver, no problem. And number 18, that is Rooks, the sophomore, who's going to pick up yet another first down. Actually, that's Neighbors. 2 18s. Neighbors being the wide receiver. So it'll be 1st and 10 again.
And Dan, it's going to be interesting to see how this game plays out in all 4 quarters. Lamar's coming off a bye week. Are they very conditioned? Long pass, incomplete there. We want to focus on Lamar's condition. You know, coming off a bye week, we had a chance to reset and work on some technique, but it's still hot and humid here in Beaumont. And with this tempo by the Lumberjacks, there's going to be a lot of pressure on that secondary. Can they hang for 4 quarters with this tempo?
Yeah, and you know, I think all coaches would tell you there's an up and a downside to a bye week. The upside is maybe you get a chance to rest a little bit, maybe recover from some injuries. But the downside is you kind of get out of rhythm a little bit.
Yep.
Vidlak going to cut it back inside. This time Lamar, a host of red shirts there waiting for that one. Not a lot of folks fooled on that particular play.
Yeah, that was excellent pursuit there by the Cardinals defensively, led by number 8. I want to give credit to their linebacker, number 8, be able to run down there and be able to.
Yeah, top end was right there in the middle of it for sure. Band of the transfer from Marshall. So a 3rd down and 8 for the Lumberjacks at the 29. Send the player in motion to the wide side. Vidlak drops, goes downfield, finds his man across the middle. Blaine Green picking up yet another catch.
Excellent pass there by Vidlak. Man, we can take a look at that replay. Watch this play here. He goes with the play action, stands tall in the pocket, but he zips the football in there right to his receiver in the post route to be able to get in front of the defender and pick up the 1st down.
Going with the run, Lamar plugs things up front. Yeah, you can see the confidence in Vidlak.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not rattled when he's in the pocket. He's not like a quick possession, got to go through all the possibilities. He just stands in there and finds his target.
And a lot of times that comes from experience. He transferred in from the University of Montana.
He's got that, yeah.
And so he's not rattled. Right now he's 8 for 9, 114 yards and 1 touchdown. Sometimes that's a career day for certain quarterbacks in the Southland, and right now he has that in the 1st quarter.
Got to release it out on the ground. Green can't make the catch. So Lamar's going to push it to a 4th down. Big stop. Well, I guess it's actually 3rd. My bad. 3rd and 8.
One of the hardest downs is the 3rd down. I mean, quite obvious if you're a defensive player, but Lamar has not done a great job of getting the Lumberjacks off the field on 3rd down. They substitute here at the last second. Let's see if the Jacks can take advantage of this with their up-tempo offense. Lamar looks a little confused defensively.
Have to give them time to get their substitutions in before they start the play. Vidlak drops across the middle. Felt a little pressure that time, not necessarily on him, but around him. His release a little late. And now a 4th down situation.
Yeah, Vidlak tried to go.
That was actually hitting the line of scrimmage.
Someone got their hand up and got their hand on the football, which really helped Stevens, the defensive back there, covering the receiver for Lamar. So Lamar can stop this. They can be able to get the momentum back here to their offense.
Chris Campos, a tough stop. The guy is pretty much money every time you put it down on the tee. No different this time. He nails it after it's set down at about the 18-yard line. So a 28-yard field goal adds to SFA's total. There's a look at Campos. 5th season at SFA, all-time leader in career field goals. Get this, he's made 74 of them.
Wow.
In his career at SFA. In fact, preseason All-American 2nd team.
Yeah, talk about consistency.
He's pretty much money.
The scene out of Nacogdoches.
There's Pete Rosamondo in his 2nd year as head coach at Lamar.
You know, it's always great to talk to Coach Rosamondo each and every home game, before each and every home game, and he has great energy. I think he brings a lot, just not on the field, but off the field as well.
I agree. And, you know, the thing is, he's a very relatable guy, which I think makes him pretty popular in the community. He does a coach's show live at one of the local restaurants, and people enjoy coming and having the interaction, and his frankness about what's going on with his team.
And we talked about what did he like the most about these evening games. He said he gets up 5 in the morning. He prefers to have 11 o'clock game, but with Lamar switching the schedule up, going from the 6 p.m. to the 3 p.m. game today for homecoming, I wanted to know how he felt about it, and he just says it's business as usual.
Well, give me your early impressions here of SFA. I mean, this is a team, they were picked to be 5th in the Southland Conference in the preseason poll. they look strong as anybody we've seen this year.
Yeah, very impressed so far in this first couple of series. They look like a team with a bunch of experience, especially on the offensive end. They know what they know who they are, and they know how they want to establish themselves, especially on the run. On the road, they want to be able to spread you out defensively, put pressure on your front seven as far as with the up tempo, but also give the ball to their playmakers, and they've done that thus far throughout this first quarter.
Let's see if Lamar, in their third possession, can find a way to get some points on the board here. Again, trailing by 10. Good look at Robert Coleman, the senior out of Menifee, California. Came into the game 624 yards. This one just a straight ahead give. A little bit of a change up for Lamar. Normally when he gives it off, you expect it to be going to Kalen Griffin, but that time Bowdnick gets the call.
Good to see Robert Coleman back. You see his leg still braced with the brace on there and heavily taped. Had that lower leg injury a couple of games ago here at the home. Ball started on Lamar.
It is going to be. Penalties have been troubling for this team so far this year.
Yeah, and this is the team, the Jacks defense is the team that you do not want to continue to give up big penalties against, because it will come back to haunt you throughout this game.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Most of the attention, as you can imagine, has been on the SFA offensive firepower that they have, but still, they play pretty stiff defense. This time Griffin will get back maybe to the original line of scrimmage. Up front, Aaron Austin and Ed Bobino combining for 35 tackles coming into this game. Then, as you mentioned, the linebacking core pretty tough too. Josiah Cotton, Jadon Southard, and Luke Watson. They're bringing everybody. They're showing blitz.
Well, they're coming after Robert Coleman here.
Yeah, 3rd and 9. Not much doubt what you're going to have to do. Why not bring everybody? And all he can do is throw it downfield under pressure.
Is there a flag down?
Flag in the backfield, and I think we may have pass interference. Roughing the passer.
Yep. Which will give Lamar the first down.
Here's the call.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 36, defense. Penalty is 15 yards in the previous spot and carries an automatic first down.
First bad mistake there for the Lumberjacks on the road defensively. Yeah, he had them on the ropes. You can see the coaches talking to the linebacker as well.
Jadon Southard says, I really, I stopped my forward momentum. I really didn't do much. I just got to my point of contact, and it's kind of hard to argue with that when you look at it. Wasn't a violent hit. Nonetheless, it will be 1st and 10 for Lamar at the 41-yard line. Their 4th first down of the quarter, right up the middle. Good play. Going to be close to a first down if it is not a first down by Damian Moore.
Good change up there by Lamar, going with Damian Moore, the senior, right up the middle, down Broad Street, to be able to get close to the first down. Establish the running game is going to neutralize and also slow down this defense by the Jacks and help Lamar build some confidence going forward in this series. Here it is again.
Again, right up the middle. Why not? If you find success, exploit it. And a lot of that work being up front by Elias Ripley and Javel Robertson, the right guard in the center, and it is in the middle. Watch the hole open up.
Lamar switched up some players this week, coming in with some new fresh legs at the offensive line, and is working thus far here in this series with Damian Moore exploding down the middle, picking up the first down and moving those chains for the Cardinals.
Now Moore 26 yards on 2 carries. Dropped by Coleman, this time the keeper off the right side. Maybe a yard pickup, maybe 2. We mentioned Lamar, a bye week. SFA coming off that win against Northwestern. Got a timeout called on the field. Again, Lamar trailing 10-0 here with 1:57 to play in the first quarter.
Design quarterback keeper there by Lamar with Robert Coleman, and Thomas, number 97, is the guy that's down on the field. It's always good to see the player get up and walk off on his own power going back to his sideline.
Yeah, we were talking about the fact that SFA's offense gets a lot of attention, but this is a defense that's just been allowing like 17 points a game. They're tied for 8th in the FCS nationally, points per game. See if Lamar can put some on the board here in this drive. Once again, Coleman on the slide. He is going to have a flag. The way he fell made it look like maybe that knee took a pretty good rip backwards. He gets up.
And gives a thumbs up towards the coaching staff. Take a look at this replay here. Another design quarterback keeper to the outside edge.
After the play was over, personal foul.
Oh, tries to slide. You see what I'm saying.
15-yard penalty at the end of the play and an automatic first down.
Yeah, the Lumberjacks are shooting themselves in the foot defensively. Too many penalties on this series. One with the roughing the passer, and that one there, a late hit on the quarterback. Robert Coleman actually gave himself up by sliding. Another personal foul against the Lumberjacks defense. Can Lamar capitalize on it, Dan? Because that's what you want to see. Can they put points on the board?
That is the question. A timeout called. I think the coaching staff wants to talk about what's going on. It looks like there may be a review of some kind going on. I'm not sure. There's a look at the officials. We'll see what the conversation is about. Meantime, both the teams huddled up. So here's the play in question. He tries to slide. So I guess, is it spearing? Is that the question? Because if you watch number 27, when he comes into the play, Tyler Hutcherson, it's helmet first.
Yeah, targeting. They want to see if it's
right. He tries to turn his shoulder.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what is under review.
We'll definitely find out here shortly. But if you're Lamar, though, you came out with it. Let's kind of recap this first quarter for them. They came out with an excellent kickoff return and gave them some real good field position. But offensively, they stalled out the last two.
After further review, there is no targeting on the play. First down.
All right, so that was the question, though, targeting. And then I think like us, when they saw the shoulder turn, the head turn, they realized he did not. So, and, of course, that's very important. You don't want to lose your starting linebacker for a targeting call. So, but it will still bring up a first down for Lamar. And their first real threat, other than the bobbled touchdown pass in this quarter.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to say right before the official came out with the call, is that Lamar has some excellent energy after that kickoff return, and Jones going down the field, that bobble missed touchdown. But can they capitalize on this opportunity here?
Oh, my. Footsteps, I think, were heard that time by Jaden Boyd, a sophomore out of Longview. Made the catch, but before he could put it away, it's out of his hands and incomplete.
Got a good look on it. Yeah, didn't look it in.
I think, like I said, I think he just heard footsteps there.
Yeah.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. Get a first down at about the 8-yard line. Coleman in the shotgun. End around, got a little bit of room, but not much. And that one will not be a big gainer for Lamar after Andre Dennis.
Yeah, I thought Dennis should have kept it to the outside. Take a look at this replay here. Quick pass, toss to Dennis. If he stays to the outside, he can probably pick up more yardage. He decides to cut back in where the defense is coming in on pursuit and was able to bring him down. So I thought he should have just kept it to the outside. That probably would have gave him another 2 or 3 more yards and got him close to the first down.
3rd and 5, wide side to the near side of the field.
Nice.
That's just good effort by Damian Moore that time up the middle.
Effort and patience. Watch Damian Moore, if you get a chance to look at this replay. watch the patience by the senior running back, who was able to allow the offensive lineman to set up the blocks and have the vision enough to be able to cut back inside. Watch this here. He just steps to the left, then cuts immediately back to the right as the offensive line was able to open up those gaps for him to be able to pick up the first down for the Cardinals.
Pete Rosamondo going for it on 4th and 1. Cut back, and I don't think he's going to get it. And that will bring us to the end of the quarter with Lamar turning the ball over on a 4th down.
Ouch.
Coming up empty-handed. So we'll end the quarter with SFA leading this one 10-0. Here's a look at those first quarter stats, and as you can imagine, pretty lopsided for SFA at this point, except time of possession. Lamar actually has had the ball 2 minutes more than the Jacks have. Let's go down to the sideline, check in with Bob Slovak, and I got a feeling, Bob, some folks are going to wonder about that decision to go for it on 4th down.
All right, thank you, Dan. As you can see, that last play is just indicative of what's been going on here. SFA's offense just doing what they want to there, the pass to Green. So Lamar went for it on 4th down, and I know what Coach Rosamondo was thinking. He goes, we got to keep this drive going and get a touchdown. We can't settle for field goals because SFA, this is going to be a track meet. That's what Lamar's in right now. They've got to get something on the board, but more importantly, their defense has to rally up here and slow down the SFA offense. So far, they have failed to do that in this game. Dan?
I think they have not been able to even get in front of this freight train, SFA. And there's a couple of plays that kind of show you, of course, start things off. 37-yard pass completion, then you come back for a 7-yard gainer and set things up. Now working in Lamar territory. And the give right up the middle, taking advantage of the situation. Headed all the way down to the 10-yard line that time is Hulin Jones. Jones just takes it up the middle and then cuts it out towards the sideline. Here's a look.
Yeah, Jones just explodes down the middle for the Lumberjacks, and no one in sight for the Cardinals on that second level, not even a linebacker, and took Pugh, their top safety and their consistent player for the season, for Lamar to be able to push him out of bounds.
Lamar trying to catch up now in pursuit. There's a look at those rushing yardages for Lamar. 22 for Lamar, 68 yards on the ground for the Jacks so far.
Yeah, Lumberjacks was one-dimensional in the first quarter. Pass happy with over 140, well, almost 114 passing the football. Now they want to establish the running game here in the second quarter. Got to watch out.
Sure, why not? Going to do it again on the ground, looking for that first down. Lots of red coming up and meeting the play.
And Dan, if you can remember when we talked to Coach Rosamondo, one of the things he stood out, or he jumped out and said that he wanted to make the Lumberjacks a one-dimensional team in this environment here on homecoming. Take something away from them. They did that in the first quarter. They was more pass happy. They didn't establish the running game in the first quarter. Well, they're becoming a more of a balanced team here in this last couple of series. You can see the Lumberjacks now in the pistol formation to be able to establish this running game in the red zone.
Vidlac looking for somebody, rolls to his left, in trouble.
Hit him.
That's the first time this afternoon that Lamar has really been able to put any kind of pressure on the transfer from Montana.
And for most part of that, because of the tempo. The tempo has been been quick pace there by the Lumberjacks, so you couldn't really get a lot of pressure. But give credit to Jackson, number 4 there for Lamar, to put some pressure on Vidlac to be able to force the ball out of bounds.
That'll force them into another field goal situation. They'll put the ball down at the 15, so a 25-yarder. Truly a chip shot for Chris Campos. We mentioned on the All-American watch list. Money again. Splits the uprights, and SFA puts 3 more on the board to take a 13-zip lead with 12:30 to play in the second. Back inside Provost Humphrey Stadium, fans looking for something to cheer about on this homecoming on a very warm October afternoon, 87, 88 degrees, and the air's not the only hot thing, so is the SFA offense. Although, in fairness, it could be much worse for, the Cardinals. They've stopped them from getting into the end zone, and instead of having 14 points, they've only managed 6
Placed
points.
at the 35-yard line, first down, Lamar.
Yeah, I agree, Dan. I think it could have been it could be a whole lot worse as far as from a scoring standpoint. Lamar has been, but not breaking the red zone, forcing them to go with 2 field goals the last couple series to be able to put the score 13-0.
Well, I mean, that last drive, that's 82 yards, 7 plays, and instead of giving up 7, you give up 3. I mean, sometimes you've got to look for the silver lining in those drives. But now you got to come back out, and you got to put a little pressure on their defense if you're Lamar.
Well, the thing is, you want to know, what is Lamar trying to execute? I mean, as far as from an offensive standpoint, early on, it was aggressive in trying to be able to get the ball to the outside to their playmakers, but then they tried to go with the running game. We didn't see Griffin as much in the last couple of series. They went with Damian Moore, the senior. Robert Coleman is trying to build his confidence back up, being out due to the injury and a little rusty based on what Coach said from the last game on the road. So you want to see, what's the game plan? What are you trying to establish here in front of your homecoming fans here in this first half? Because if you're not careful, you can get down a little bit more going against a high-powered offense like the Lumberjacks.
That one to the tight end, Sean Grayson. Not enough for the first down. Picks up about 5. But maybe you have to be content chipping away.
Well, you have to. You got to be able to put yourself in manageable yardage on third downs if you're Lamar. Take what the defense gives you. You can't force anything against a very tough and experienced defense like the Lumberjacks. So I always say go with your running game. You see Griffin in that shot here going to the sideline for a breather, but you have a 1-2 punch with Griffin and Moore. Utilize those 2 backs there to be able to help you collapse the defense, but also open up the offense and be able to pass the ball down the field to Jones and Ray.
Got a man in motion to the short side. Jadon Southern, the linebacker, on that last play, and there he comes again. Wow, open receiver coming out of the backfield, unable to hit Major Bowden.
That was a really good play call. Going with the wheel route to Bowden out of the backfield. Led a little bit too long there by Robert Coleman. So 4th down, out. It was now another 3 and out for Lamar offensively, forcing him to punt the football. Had the player out there. Bowden was open.
Yeah,
Watch
you
this
couldn't
here.
ask for more.
Just led him a little bit too long.
Got a hand on it, but not enough to be able to pull it in. Would have been enough for the first down as well, but instead, out will come Chase Leon.
And then those are the breaks that Lamar needs. I mean, you can't afford to be able to miss those type of plays to get back into this football game.
Nice kick, end over end. Mishandled.
There it is.
Can Lamar come up with a big turnover? Gave it away, or did they? Recovered it and then give it away on the attempt to advance the ball.
Someone had their hands on it.
Let's see it again.
Was it number 8 for Lamar? Yeah.
It looked like Lamar had the ball. You see the discussion going on. Watch this. The question maybe, does he have possession and go down to one knee? Did he lose it on the ground? I'm not sure you can say that. Looked like maybe Fusilier. No, that's let's give it one more look here. There's the bounce. Trying to field it. He's got it in his hands there. Knee goes down. But the ball, you can see, is already here at the feet of the Lumberjack players. So I'm sure that's what they're going to be looking at.
And if I'm Coach Rossamando, I'll take a chance on this one. Because if you do get the ball in great field position, it'll give you some kind of momentum.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the kicking team. Personal foul, number 13, kicking team. That penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. After the play, personal foul, kicking team number 55. That penalty is also enforced. First down.
Well, there it is.
So rather than having possession, Now, not only are they going to give it back to SFA, but in good field position. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We've got 11:01 to play. You're watching Southland Conference football on ESPN+. Back in Beaumont with Stephen F. Austin. Lamar renewing an old rivalry, as we mentioned, goes all the way back to 1951. Sam Vidlac has nowhere to go, being chased, and just throws this one out of bounds. Trying to get away from the pursuit by Jalen Freeman, the senior out of Frisco.
Yeah, Freeman put the pressure on him, but you got to give credit to the defensive backs there, being able to stay in the coverage. Vilac didn't see anything, so he was able to force the ball out of bounds. You got to give credit to the defensive backs there, holding still with the receivers.
Good like this time, swings it out into the flats. You know, it really looks like Lamar's defense recovering a little bit from that first quarter, starting to kind of find their zone.
I agree, Dan. I think they're starting to settle down and be able to get more comfortable defensively, executing their game plan. And early on, you can see they were chasing their tail, trying to make open field tackles. But right there, one high and one low, as they'd be able to take down the receiver. Was that Harris for the Lumberjacks?
Damian Alexander and their number 5. So that'll bring up a 3rd and 7. Lamar coming with the rush again on the Vidlac. One of the few times to miss with the pass play, and that's going to be a 3 and out for SFA. That, if you're a Lamar fan, that's obviously good. A good sign.
Absolutely. Now you got to get your offense going. Defensively settled down and force a 3 and out on that series. Stevens, the senior out of New Orleans, has been very active here in the first half.
Yeah, second team All-Southland Conference a year ago. So SFA will punt it away. So for Callum Eddings, an unfamiliar place to be this game on the field. Gets it off, tumbling end over end, going to hit at about the 16. No return. And Lamar will go back to work and see if they can generate some sense of offensive cohesion. Maybe it's the same thing now that the defense is settled in. Maybe the offense and Coleman can go to work. And again, it was surprising that we have not seen the workhorse of this offense, Kalen Griffin, get the number of carries you might imagine.
Early on, he established himself and had some really hard runs.
He's only got 2 carries.
Yeah, early on, but they mixed in Damian Moore. For a quick second, we thought maybe Griffin had an injury that we didn't know about, but he's back in the game here in this opening series.
Coleman trying to set up the play. Double wideouts to the right. The give is to Griffin. There's a hole. Stumbles, or he might have had an even bigger gainer. Yeah. Nobody knows that better than Kalen. We talked about this before. He runs with such swagger.
Yeah.
When he hits the hole, it's like, I'm going to, get the best of this.
And he's a downhill runner.
And nobody's more disappointed than he was that he didn't have,
He was a shoestring tackle away from breaking that open, maybe a possible touchdown for the Lamar Cardinals. Senior out of Tyler, Texas. He's their, I call him the workhorse. He's their workhorse, the bell cow offensively, and as he goes, the offense goes.
In trouble. Coleman, no choice, going to have to run this time. Got lots of room. He just wants to get down to the sideline. I don't think he wants to take another chance on taking a shot. Smart move on his part.
I chuckle because he's high-stepping on the way out of bounds there with a bum left knee. I mean, not a bum knee, but a recovering left knee. Watch this here. Smart play by Coleman. The senior was able to tuck it and run. And as he high steps out of bounds, laughing at the defensive back as he walks out of bounds, Robert Coleman having fun with it. You can tell he's a very passionate player. It's really good to see him back on the field. You can see that brace on the left leg. He took a hit a couple of games ago here at home, but he's back and ready to go for Lamar offense.
So Griffin goes for 12, and Coleman picks up a couple of dozen more. Now looking way downfield, wide open is Ray, makes the catch at the 5-yard line. Coleman Good heads-up thinking, rolls out and sees him, and Griffin he got behind coverage. He was all alone.
That play was led by the legs of Robert Coleman, but also Ray being able to break away from the defensive back and be able to extend that play. Good pitch and catch there by the quarterback and the receiver.
That time tries to force the issue into Isaiah Jones. And now he comes up with a bit of a limp. Not surprising, though, here in the red zone, you bring in Jacoby Longino because he gives you that added dimension.
Yeah,
being able to run as well as throw.
Absolutely. He's a dual threat guy. You want to be able to help your offense.
There's that catch one more time by Ray. Again, busted coverage by the Lumberjacks in the secondary.
I would say give it to Longino or Griffin on the outside edge to put some pressure on this Lumberjacks defense, but looks like a timeout is called there.
Outside edge, wide side or short side?
This is a 30-second timeout.
It's a 30-second timeout.
I would to answer your question, Dad, I will go to the outside of the alongside of the field, give you a two-way go. Either you can keep it with the quarterback keeper with Longino, or you can be able to pitch it to Griffin to be able to extend the play and get into the end zone. Either way, Lamar needs to come up with 7 points. They cannot settle for a field goal on this one. This is homecoming. You have the alumni here. You have the former players here from class of '89, as Bob mentioned early on. So you want to get the fans into this game, get everybody pumped up before halftime.
So coming back to the line of scrimmage, again, Longino, the junior out of Missouri City, got 184 yards in the air. So, I mean, when we talk about his running ability, he can throw it. But SFA not fooled. They know what he does. And good pursuit that time coming up from the secondary and taking care of things.
I think the defensive coordinator heard us up here in the booth there, because that's exactly what Lamar tried to do. Is they moved the tight end from the right side to the wide side of the field to give him an extra block along Gino for quarterback design keeper, and the Lumberjacks did an excellent job sniffing that out and had multiple defenders there to stop Longino, now making it a second, or actually 3rd down and 12.
See what Drew Chris, the offensive coordinator, can come up with for Lamar to give them some option. Coleman back in, drops, going to swing it out, finds his intended receiver, and down to the 3-yard line that time. Good hit. Xavier Coleman makes the catch and run, but good play coming up to make the hit is Treshawn Adams.
Penalty is half the distance to the goal.
All right, so apparently penalty on SFA, obviously, half the distance to the goal. But not only that, bigger than that, you don't have to worry about downs anymore.
No, not at all. That was a big break for Lamar. Roughing the passer, a couple series ago, the Lumberjacks had a roughing the passers, which helped Lamar move the ball down the field. Now, Lamar has 1st down to go here in the red zone. Give it to Griffin to be able to punch it in for a touchdown.
There's the call, and that's exactly what happened. Griffin standing up into the end zone, cuts into this SFA lead after the Cardinals take the ball and drive, 82 yards?
And that's how you want to answer, Dan. You want to be able to get back into this game with showing some aggressiveness, and then you want to give it to your senior out of Tyler, Texas. Kalen Griffin there was able to get the ball in 1st and goal, and he just punched it right on in, and he's telling his teammates, we're back into this game.
Sure.
And he's their motivator. He's their leader. He's their emotional leader on offense, and right there, that was a touchdown that was much needed for Lamar offense.
So the PAT is good. 7 plays, 84 yards. Lamar on the board as we hit 7 minutes, 7 seconds left to go in the first half. Back inside Provost Humphrey Stadium here in Beaumont, Texas, where the 22-ranked Lamar Cardinals find some offense before we get to the half, scoring on that long 82-yard drive. There's a look at Kalen Griffin, who was a big part of that drive, that 12-yard gainer, of course, but then the carry for 2 yards up the middle into the end zone.
Yeah,
Dan Lamar on the board.
And then Lamar got back to the basics, which is their identity is running the football. I thought they did an excellent job trying to insert in the running game to be able to neutralize and slow down that defense from the Lumberjacks, and they was able to move the ball down the field with some help with some penalties as well.
And, of course, also when you look back, you're going to, if this changes, if the momentum changes, obviously the 2 stalled out drives come into play as well because, again, instead of converting for touchdowns, they have to settle for field goals, which, again, makes this a reasonable game if it stays this way. We got 7 minutes, though, to play in the half. And the question becomes, does Sam Vidlak find his, receivers? I mean, he's got 155 yards in this half in the air. Does that time. And Jones out of the big field. Look at this. Big gainer.
Deja vu all over again. Jones with the football. On the last series, he busted open as far as running the ball. This time, Vidlak gives it to him in space to be able to get the first down and the momentum as you can see the Lumberjacks is now putting pressure on the Cardinals defense to score more points.
Jones again, this time kind of horse-collared from behind by Braden Faulkner, the junior out of Waco, to make the stop. Otherwise, he might have had an even bigger gainer, but still good for 8. It'll be 2nd and 2.
If Lamar can hit the reset button and regroup, we thought that they settled down defensively and was playing better, especially out in space, making tackles. That big run there by Jones was huge for the Lumberjacks, but Lamar has adjusted, bending but not breaking throughout this first half, only giving up a couple field goals. If they can find a way to force a turnover or get the Lumberjacks off the field, all is well defensively, and give the ball back to the offense.
Well, you can't give up 33 on a first down,
Oh,
and
yeah.
A similar pass going right back at it again. This time Lamar, a little bit better pursuit coverage.
Oh, you absolutely cannot give up 33 yards, Dan, and I'm pretty sure the defensive coordinator, the defensive players didn't want to do that as well. But, I mean, what I'm saying is that, even though you gave up 33, we didn't see throughout this first half Lamar recovering and regrouping defensively and settling and forcing the Lumberjacks to settle for a field goal.
Well, I think it's that same thing, that all players have probably heard on defense, bend, don't break.
Yeah.
There's Blaine Green's totals for the afternoon. 5 catches, 86 yards. There's also a look over at the sidelines for SFA, the discussion going on. Vidlak, a little bit of time. Oh, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver. We talked about hearing footsteps. That might have been another case of that happening as Raymond Stevens was coming up and just kind of got in behind the intended receiver that time, Jordan Neighbors.
Yeah, again, Stevens has been very active throughout this first half. The senior out of New Orleans, I mean, he's had his hands full early in the first quarter. Now he's still been able to lock people down in that man-to-man coverage on the outside for the Cardinals.
2nd and 10. Vidlak on the move. He's going to pitch this time. Nice play coming up to make the stop is Ronnie Hamrick, the junior out of Lithbourne, Georgia. Played at Texas State for 3 years before transferring to Lamar, and that was a D1 play right there.
And that was textbook. Watch this here as he shoots the gaps and get in front of the blocker there to be able to make a play. All around excellent play there by the linebacker. He didn't just shoot the gap. He got in front of the blocker, but also he brought down the running back for the tackle in open field.
Yeah, Robert Keller, the left tackle, just didn't have the speed to stay in front of him. So now 3rd and long.
Under pressure again.
Under pressure, and Cardinals turning up the heat. A little celebratory dance going on right there by number 15 for the Cardinals, and I think that's probably Ken Savannah, the linebacker, and it is.
And it goes back to what I said a couple of plays ago. I said Lamar, even though they gave up 33 yards, they've been bending but not breaking. And it's all as well if they're able to get the offense off the field and give the ball back to their offense. And look at that play there, just closing in.
Well, Savannah, I was going to say Savannah just shot the gap and found the prize there. So it's going to be 4th and very long.
Is that
that'll bring out
Dan, is that the homecoming dance, I guess?
That might be it. Might be if they pull out the win. Ooh, contact going on before the catch there, but no call, no flags, and catch made. So Lamar will go to work deep in their own territory, but that's where they started their last successful drive and wound up going 82 yards.
Running into the kicker, number 95, receiving team. Penalties decline. First down. Come on.
Yeah, let's check in with Bob Slovak. He's standing by down on the sidelines. Give us an update, Bob.
Hey, guys. Hey, Ken Savanaugh, you saw the little dance there after the sack. Well, his teammates were mimicking him over here on the sideline. Hey, the excitement, the passion back here as Lamar is right back in this game. The defense keeping him in it. Dan, Lemont bending but not breaking. Lamar back in this game big time. Dan?
All right, thanks, Bob. Yeah, now the question is, can they keep their offense rolling? Remember last time, part of that equation was Coleman moving out of a straight drop and kind of moving around in the pocket a little bit.
And they have plenty of time with 3:27 to go here and giving the ball in space to their top receiver in Ray. That can help them. Clock management is a key here, too, as well for the Cardinals. You want to be able to make sure you manage the clock very well before halftime with 3 minutes left to go here in the second quarter.
Watch the play right there. Lamar, the only man that had a chance was laying on the ground. So good block there by a fellow receiver. And opens up the pass play. So Lamar picks up another first down, their 10th of the half.
Ball start on Lamar, it looks like.
Ball start, number 73, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Yeah,
first down.
Will be on Cortez Winslow. It may be Thomas LeBoucher. I think, though, no, that's Winslow, the freshman out of Houston. There he is, big guy, 6'4", 280.
Some good size there for a freshman.
I'd say so. Wait till he gets to that training table for a couple of years, huh?
In the weight room.
Coleman looking deep, can't throw it. Now he's going to have to run, sprints out. He looked downfield, and he just didn't have the open receiver smart enough, wise enough. And, to me, that's the difference from a year ago with Robert Coleman. A year ago, he would attempt to force the issue and try to throw it into double coverage. This year, it's that, hey, I can take 5 or 6 yards and get out of bounds.
I totally agree with you, Dan, and that's showing maturity from Robert Coleman's standpoint. Last year, he was inserted into a program with a brand-new coach and a brand-new offense. This year, he's familiar with the coach, with the offensive staff, but also he has the confidence to be able to pull it down and run it, as we saw in that last play.
Well, and Coleman's a good-sized guy. I mean, he's 6 foot, 200 pounds. He went straight up the middle on a design play. He's not going to get the first down. It's going to be a third down. Again, that'll take us to the 2-minute timeout. There's a look down on the field. We're going to be talking with some of the alumni at halftime, and also, of course, there's the president of the university, Jaime Taylor. We'll take a break, come back, and we'll finish out the half. Stay with us. The Lamar Cardinals, 22-ranked team of the nation, at least in one of the polls in the country, got a minute 56 to see if they can make up a little more ground against the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin. Trailing by 6. Third down, and this time Coleman not going anywhere. In fact, right up front, nice charge coming into it is the big guy, number 97 for SFA. And that'll be Kai Thomas, the senior out of Elkhart.
Lamar needs a sense of urgency here with less than 2 minutes. You got to be clock management. 4th down and 3 to go. You got to have a play in there to be able to move these chains and continue this drive.
But this is a dangerous call here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's 4th down. It's not like 4th down at the 20. This is 4th down, and you're deep in your own territory.
But the clock is still ticking, though, Dan. I mean, even if you're going to go for it.
But and now they'll take the penalty and go back, and now they'll punt is what's going to happen.
Okay.
Well, actually, they're taking the timeout, so they called it right before they got to the end of the clock. SFA, I'm sure, try to force the issue here.
Again, it goes back to clock management. If you're going into it knowing that you're gonna burn the timeout, in my opinion, you should take it at the early in the down to save you some time, just in case when you do get the field goal.
Yeah, but if you're SFA, you take the timeout because it leaves you more time once you receive the punt.
Gotcha. If it's SFA taking the timeout, correct?
It's my understanding, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, no, that's not right. Lamar took the timeout. I'm just now remembering he pointed at Lamar.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
As the timeout. So, yeah, he did.
So
the timeout is on Lamar.
So if that's Lamar taking the timeout.
But I guess also the other thinking was if you were going to go for it, maybe you'd want to have enough time to make sure.
Yeah, but they're punting, so I guess null and void now, I guess.
Well, obviously, SFA will not have much time to work with, about 60 seconds to be able to go into the break with something more than the 13 they've already posted. Statistically speaking, and we'll break it all down for you at the half, you know, there's some categories that are dominated by SFA, but then you look, and you know, the reality is, for example, possession. Lamar's actually had the ball more than SFA, 15-40 to 13-22.
And Lamar has been able to bounce back defensively, but also caught a couple of bad breaks offensively to still be in this game, only down by 6 points. So, I mean, you can always regroup and reassess at halftime if you're Lamar on homecoming to be able to give your fans a better second half from a production standpoint offensively. Now, if you're Stephen F. Austin, I thought they lost a little bit of their thunder offensively. High-powered offense came out, especially on that opening drive in the first quarter. It was impressive moving the ball down the field and inserting Jones as well from a running standpoint. But I just think that they lost a little bit of their buzz as well.
I think it's a shame. Blaine Green, you see, being taken off. Green leads all receivers, had 6 catches for 90 yards, but I was going to say the same thing. You get the impression the takeaway from the first half was it took Lamar's defense a quarter to find their footing, and I'm not sure.
While the clock was running, which qualifies for a 10-second runoff. Stephen F. Austin has elected to take a timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff. This is the final charge timeout for Stephen F. Austin, 30-second timeout.
So, you know, they blunt things a little bit by finding their footing and, you know, as you said, bending and not breaking and not giving up the touchdown on a couple of drives. Well, keep an eye on Blaine Green, again, who has gone to the sideline. He's been very influential in this first half for the SFA offense, as Vidlak has hit him 6 times for 90 yards. And on top of that, 15 yards a catch.
Yeah. I mean, that's every time he catches, that's a first down and more.
Vidlak will likely go into the half with 200 yards. There's a look at the head coach for SFA, Kobe Carthel, again in his 6th season. 4-year letter winner, played at Angelo State. Also has been at a number of other programs and coaching at A&M Commerce prior to coming to SFA.
They have really brought in some really top-tier athletes into Stephen F. Austin.
Well,
program.
you know, we mentioned the number of transfers, and you keep hearing us talk about players who've been at big programs, whether it was in the SEC or the Big 12. Blaine Green, who went out of the game, one of those, 3 seasons at Oklahoma State. Got another player down on the field. That's Eric Gray, 6'1" sophomore out of Amarillo.
Injury timeout for the offense. Since there was a first down gain, no 10-second runoff is qualified here.
21 seconds left in the half. Coming up at halftime, we'll have a chance to visit with the mayor of Beaumont. Talk a little bit about Lamar's influence on the community and they celebrate their homecoming. So look at some of the Lamar players on the sideline. And yes, the name Rosamondo was on the back of a jersey.
Yeah, his son is on the team. That's always good to have the mayor in the house.
It is, and it'll be a good chance to catch up with Mayor West. And again, talk about the influence. We'll also talk about a way that if you've been watching the news and the news cycle and you've seen the destruction in western North Carolina, or you've seen what's happening in Florida after Milton, and you feel like just, how can I help? We'll tell you a way that you can get involved and feel good about how you make that donation. So stick around for that. Plus, of course, we'll catch you up on halftime stats, the highlights, and maybe catch a little bit of the band as well. We know there's a lot of halftime homecoming activities. And I set for this one. I think we'll just go to the break, and they'll let the clock run down. That's the case. So, again, we'll go to the half. Lamar bouncing back, closing the gap, 13-7. That's where we stand as we go to the break. Stay with us. You're watching Southland Conference football on ESPN+. But let's check in with the coaches first and Bob on the sideline.
All right, Coach, a lot going on in this game for 13-7. Let's start with your defense. After that first series, they adjusted and really kept you in the game.
Yeah, we just got to leverage the ball better on the perimeter. Too many times we're letting that thing get outside. We got to send it back inside to our people. And, once we started doing that, we started to play real good defense. So we just got to continue to do that in the second half.
Offensively, a little slow start, had a touchdown overturned, but they found their stride in the second quarter.
We did. We're moving the football. We got to just continue to make plays on third down. Third down's been a little bit of our Achilles heel today, so we got to fix that at halftime. Come up with some new things here.
We've got a good game. A lot of football left. Thank you, Coach. Back to you, Dan.
All right, thanks, Bob. And, again, we appreciate Coach Rosamondo taking the time to talk as he goes into half. And as you can imagine, they'll be making a lot of plans on both sides. And, again, we'll come back. We're going to talk about the importance of a hometown university. That's next. Stay with us. You're watching, again, Southland Conference football on ESPN+. Beautiful afternoon. A little warm for, October the 12th. Started the game at 88 degrees, but you see nothing but blue skies. If you're just joining us, SFA put 7 on the board almost immediately. A 36-yard pass to Kylan Harris from Sam Vidlac, scored at 11:54 in the first. Then it looked like they were going to kind of take this one, run away with it, Lamar. They drive all the way down, wind up settling for a 31-yard field goal with 4:46 to go in the first. And then first possession in the second, same thing. They drive all the way down and go 7 plays, 82 yards, and have to settle for a 25-yard field goal. And you kind of wondered, was Lamar going to be able to get into it? But then in the second, with 7:07 left, they finally score off the Kalen Griffin 2-yard rush to end a drive that went some 84 yards.
Yeah, a tale of two different quarters. Early on, we thought the high-powered offense came to Beaumont to run away with this game early on, opening drive scoring, and Lamar bending but not breaking defensively. He was able to build defensively, allow their defense to settle down and be able to make better open field tackles. Offensively, they got it going with the running game with 88 yards in the first half.
Short kick, taken at the 22, up the sideline. Nice move. Finally bumped out of bounds. Probably at about the, looks like at about the, wow, they're going to mark it at the 46. Wembley, the receiver, puts SFA in great field possession for their first effort on offense here in the second half.
And then if you're the head coach for SFA, for the Lumberjacks, you're telling your team, let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to our high-power offense, moving the football, with spreading out the defense, but also utilizing Jones throughout this third quarter. Lamar has to get back in this game, and it's going to start with their defense.
Well, there you go. Jones with the very first carry. You called it. Lamar's front line stepping up. Simpson, Christian, Booker, all coming into play up front.
Defensively for Lamar, Dan, you can't give up any big plays. You have to make sure you tackle the person in the open field. Open field tackling is going to be huge for Lamar in the second half.
Well, there's a good example of that open field tackling from maybe one of the best players on the team, Christian Pugh,
Yeah,
the junior from Beaumont.
Yeah, the most consistent player for Lamar this season and throughout his career. Haven't missed a game so far this season out of Beaumont, Texas. Watch this here, the leading tackle from last game with 10 tackles. Well, he had a nice tackle there, wrapping up the receiver and bringing him down. He grabbed his hamstring just a little bit as he got up, but he was able to make it back to the huddle.
Yeah, I think I see him stretching it out. And there you see Nate Adams, the senior out of Flower Mound, Texas, second year at SFA after 2 seasons at Hawaii, being led off the field. So they'll have to find a replacement there at center. But they've got a 1st and 10. Give up the middle. Oh, nice second effort that time by Cullen Jones.
Jones is a direct runner. He's a downhill type of runner like Kalen Griffin, but he also can bounce it back, as we saw in that last play. Didn't like it, ran into a dead end, was able to find a crease to be able to pick up 2 or 3 yards for the offense.
Bidlack had a hand on his shoulder, still manages to get it away. It'll be close to a 1st down as he goes to Rowan Fluin, the redshirt freshman out of Gilmer. So it'll be 3rd and about a yard.
I really like the patience of Bidlack on that last play, stepping up in the pocket, feeling the pressure all around him, but also dumping it off and making it 3rd and 1 now.
Caleb Williams, that big nose tackle, can't stop this one up the middle as he bounces it outside, and it's Ken Savannah, the linebacker, who finally wraps up Jones.
Give credit to the offensive line on that last one there, Dan. Jones didn't feel like he had anything, but the offensive line at the last second opened up a small little hole for Jones to be able to sneak through for the 1st down.
1st and 10. You got that feeling that Sam Bidlack might open this one up. Why not take a shot downfield on a 1st and 10?
Got to keep the defense honest.
Nope, going to give it right back to Jones. And coming up off the tackle again, Savannah.
Heavy dose
also,
of Jones.
I'm sorry, Royce Malol's also in on the tackle. So good stop at the line.
Yeah, just a heavy dose of Jones right after halftime. You want to test this front 7 of the Lamar Cardinals and see if they're ready to go. And the running game is definitely being used here by the Lumberjacks.
So catch made, a couple of yards gained that time. Not going to be enough, I don't think, for the 1st down, but it'll make it 3rd and about 3.
It's a swing pass out to Williams Jr. Look at Pugh there. We talked about him out of Beaumont, Texas, being the most consistent player. But so far in this series, he's been the most active player defensively from the secondary position, coming down, making a play on that last pass.
Give right back up the middle again to Jones. No, it's not Jones this time. Check that. Actually, the handoff that time went to Jalen Jenkins, the sophomore out of Dallas. He'll pick up the 1st down.
A lot of different weapons that the Lumberjacks can go to offensively. Some fresh legs to be able to continue to put Lamar on their heels defensively in this series.
Going right back. I mean, they're content to just eat up the yardage and just grind it out now, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they want to be able to. We saw Lamar control the clock throughout the 1st half. Time of possession at halftime, Lamar was actually leading 13 minutes compared to Stephen F. Austin, 9 minutes. So right after halftime, you see the head coach wants to make that adjustment, make the changes, and be able to rely on the running game, but also control his clock, especially earlier on in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, Jones will come back into the game. We've got some conversation going on amongst the officiating crew. Ball marked right at the 16-yard
Illegal formation
line.
on the defense, 12 participating in the play. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
So again, too many players on the field for Lamar. And that'll give them the first repeat of the first down after 5 yards marked off. Now in the red zone here.
Yeah, if you're Lamar, you can't continue to shoot yourself in the foot with the penalties. No coach talked about that at halftime, having 4 for 50 yards at halftime. You got to make those adjustments. But force a turnover here. Somebody got to make a play defense, but who's going to step up? Let's see how things play out in this red zone defense.
There you see Lamar with 6 penalties, 60 yards. Jones. He's sneaky, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he likes to get into the line and then make his decision. It's almost instead of being called, the play called to a certain spot, he just kind of finds his hole once he gets there.
He figures it out as he gets to the line of scrimmage. But give credit to the front seven of Lamar Cardinals. Nothing doing on that last play, not even giving up an inch or a yard on that play. Good group effort there by Lamar on the running game.
Yeah, I saw Tabanda, one of the linebackers, getting up off the stack there. So now it'll be 2nd and 5. Although we're having another convention of officials here in the middle of the field. Let's hear the verdict. Guess it was just a needed conversation. Going to send one in motion and go to the other side. Look how wide open that is for Jones. He walks into the end zone, sent everybody right, and then Jones goes left and just walks in.
Yeah, Dan, that's very tough, especially from Lamar's defense. You had a heavy dose of Jones right after halftime. You knew exactly what the Lumberjacks wanted to do was establish a running game, and there it is. The big back out of the backfield, bouncing to the outside. Nobody's there to be able to touch him as he walks into the end zone with his first rushing touchdown on the road here at homecoming in Beaumont, Texas.
So Jones finishes off the 13 yards for the touchdown. But that's after SFA drove on the back of the penalty some 57 yards. Got a player down for Lamar.
Looks like it's a calf issue. Might be Stevens, or I know we saw Pugh earlier grabbing the back of his hamstring. So you can't see the number from up here in the booth, but
Warm enough to be cramping?
Yeah,
I would think so. I mean, it's still
it is Stevens.
still warm enough to be a problem.
I had mentioned that earlier with the up-tempo from the Lumberjacks in the first quarter in that opening drive. I wanted to see how, Lamar would make those adjustments coming off a bye week as far as a conditioning standpoint.
So, Ramon Stevens, again, last year, second-team All-Southland Conference selection goes off. And the Jacks going for 2.
Well, moving on the line.
That might change their mind. We'll see if they opt for the PAT.
Ball start, 55, offense.
Somehow I
5-yard
don't
penalty,
think so.
retry.
I think they're trying to make up for those 2 field goals they settled for.
Actually, bring in the field.
Well, they
PAT
are.
team
Yep,
now.
they will kick now.
Smart
So
decision there.
Chris Campos will come in. Get this. He has made 66 consecutive PATs.
See if he can make 67.
Been a while since he missed one. Chip shot up, and it is good. So SFA comes out on their very first possession. and takes advantage of moving it down and scoring. So 27 is where we stand here with 9:34 to play. Well, we mentioned it's a homecoming here at Lamar University in Beaumont. This is a school that, believe it or not, started playing football in 1923. First year as a senior college, 1951, and then first year as a Southland Conference football team, 1964. Memorable year, 1989. Bob Slovak down on the sideline with some members from that team. Bob?
All right, thank you, Dan. It is homecoming here at Lamar. I have the 1989 football team with me right here. How about it? All right, so 1989 was kind of an up and down year. The team got disbanded. Jake Wilson here with the offensive tackle. What number?
74.
74. Tell me about that season, because y'all seemed to turn the corner and then it just stopped.
We were 5-5. Everything looked good, and just at the end of the season, it was a surprise to everybody. It was my senior year. Most of these guys' senior year, and we all had a good year, but it just was gone. But lifetime of memories.
If I remember correctly, you won that last game.
Yes, Stephen McNeese. Yeah.
That had been a great memory just to go out on top like that.
Oh, absolutely. It's always good to be a winner.
What's your name, sir?
Tracy Perkins.
All right, what number?
5.
All right, Scott McDonald, I know you.
2-5.
2-5. All right, good to see you, Scott. All right, so you guys keep together. I love to see that.
That's awesome. Well, these guys really, I'm from up by Kansas City, so these guys are together a lot. But I stay in touch with about half of these guys, and it's awesome. This place is awesome.
And the other thing is we got Chris Ford. You remember Chris Ford, number 11. He has ALS. We had a big function with him yesterday.
Yeah.
He's not doing great, but he's still got it here. He should be in the Hall of Fame here at Lamar. Just for he's a player.
I love to hear that.
Yeah, it was a big day yesterday.
Okay.
Put that for LU.
That's good. The one last question: you ever go out and toss it around, play some flag?
Well, when we want to blow our knees out, yeah.
I think head back up in the stands and get ready for a cold one, okay? All right, hey, 1989 Lamar Cardinals right here. Thank you, Dan. 1, 2, 3.
All right. Thank you, Bob. I love it. You got a couple of guys up here know that feeling, been there, done that. Like you said, better to pop a top than it is to pop a joint.
I definitely know about popping the knee, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Lamar back on the field after that prolonged drive by SFA to push the score again to 20-7. And that was a pretty impressive drive.
Yeah, it was.
You know, to finish it off there with the touchdown run. But
it was all Jones. I mean, Jones.
Pretty much.
I mean, they ran him heavily in that first series after halftime, pushed him over 100 yards. He has a 106 right now and earned his first rushing touchdown on the road. So if Lamar once gets back in this game, it's going to start now. They got to be able to put together a complete drive and not look so flat offensively.
Yeah, again, SFA goes 74 yards in 5 plays on that last scoring effort. Lamar now facing a third and very long at the 40-yard line. Double wideouts to the top of the screen. Again, Robert Coleman, the senior out of California, taking the snap. Straight drop, in trouble, lots of pressure, and he'll go down. Just got caught up in a big way, but Xavier Pott, the freshman out of Missouri City, was the one who made the tackle, and that'll end the drive and possession for Lamar.
Yeah, give credit to Pott and his teammates by collapsing the pocket as it just fell right on top of Robert Coleman. Watch this here. He drops back, and look at the pocket just collapses as Pott and company comes in there and just brings down Robert Coleman as he limps off to the sideline. And controlling both sides of the football right now is Stephen F. Austin, the Lumberjacks on the road, handling business here in the third quarter.
So Lamar forced to punt it away. Kick, a low spiral, going to bounce at about the 35. Takes a great roll for Lamar and will settle down at about the 10-yard line. That's where the Lumberjacks will go back to work with that 20-7 lead. Dan Gresham along with Lemont Williams as SFA comes back on the field for their second offensive possession of the second half. Sam Vidlock, 16 of 23, 220 yards. Fumble on the reception.
Looks like
Lamar indicating that they got it.
Haven't seen a call yet by the officials.
I think they may call him down. But I was mentioning Vidlac, 220 yards, 1 touchdown. They're going to call that incomplete.
See, Rosamano's calling for a timeout.
He wants an explanation, yeah.
He thought that was a fumble. Check out the replay.
Timeout. Lamar, first charge of the second half.
Yeah, he clearly has the football, Dan.
Well, I think the question may be more now whether or not that one knee, when he slung him down, had hit the ground before the ball came out. Here's another look.
As we look at here in this replay, he has one or two steps with the football, and as he's spinning around, the ball comes out.
Yeah, it's kind of inconclusive from that angle. Let's see if we got a better shot of it here.
1, 2.
Well, there's the ball is already on the ground. Yeah, before he ever gets close to the ground. I think you got to review that one. It'll be interesting to see the call.
Great time out there by Coach Rosamando to just make sure that everything's on the up.
Well, yeah, I don't think any
1, 2, fumble.
It's kind of hard to see. Does he have possession or is it coming down? Let's look one more time in slow motion here.
That's one.
So
step,
there's the catch. But again, okay, I'm with you. I'm going to say he's got control.
Yeah.
That was my question. Did he really have control or was it just there and we couldn't see it? I don't know. We'll let the replay officials work this one out. It may take a while. I mean, yeah, that would be a big turn of events, rather than saying, go back to first or second and 10.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Incomplete pass.
Wow.
Lamar is charged a timeout and loses its challenge for the remainder of the game.
That's tough when you lose both, and it's this early in the second half. Again, I'm just not sure that we have conclusive.
1, 2, ball's out.
That's what you're saying. But again, the replay official may be seeing it from a different angle.
Yeah, it just felt like he had control of it, and he had 2 steps in it. I mean, once he had.
How it's always interesting how things work out, how they seem to kind of balance out. Lamar took advantage of a couple of situations on penalties in the first, and now this one kind of comes back to get him. We'll see. Swinging it out again. This play has worked so well for them, and it does again because they've got some lightning fast receivers.
And now we're starting to see why they're with the high-powered offense and putting up 600-some yards last game. Watch this play here by Vidlac. Just play action, quick pass to the outside, and let your receiver do the rest.
Neighbors, sees the big hole.
No defender in sight until he crosses the field for Lamar.
And then Stevens finally makes the tackle, but not before the pickup, 24 yards and a first down. Going downfield, another wide open receiver, Blaine Green, makes yet another catch. That'll be his 7th on the afternoon, and good enough for yet another first down. That is the 19th for SFA.
And Dan, Sam Vidlac is starting to find his groove here from a passing standpoint. Early on, the first series after halftime, they did a lot of Jones running, but now it's Sam Vidlac, the transfer out of Montana. It's opening up and loosening up that shoulder and that arm. It's finding his hot receivers to be able to move the ball down the field for the Lumberjacks.
He stepped out of bounds, but, real impressive part of that play, and I don't know if you'll see it on the replay, is Rohan Fluellen, number 17, and the block that he made that kind of freed up the receiver. Just kind of held up his man. And Juwan Lewis pretty aggravated. Here comes the blitz. Just over the top of the intended receiver that time with the pressure. Lamar loaded it up and came at him.
Well, again, this is the big down for Lamar on 3rd down and 6 to go. Giving up a couple big plays here in this series to be null and void. If you can stop him and get him off the field right here at the 50, across the 50-yard line.
Well, I think if you're Will Fleming, the defensive coordinator for Lamar, you got to throw some things at him.
Here's the stats right now: 261 yards and 1 touchdown by Vidlac.
Here comes another blitz, and going to get him from behind, take him down. Nice play by Faulkner, the junior out of Waco. Wraps him up from behind.
That's what you need to do if you're Lamar. Bring the pressure from the outside. Watch Faulkner here on this replay as Vidlac try to roll to your left. He says, not in front of me. I'm going to bring you down. Vidlac hits the ground just a little bit. It's good to see that he got up. But good pressure there from the backside by Faulkner.
Yeah, I don't think Vidlac really saw him coming because he was on the backside, had his back turned. And I think just a good display of speed by Faulkner as well to catch up. So back deep to receive for Lamar on this punt, which is going to go out of the end zone. So we'll take a break. Just over 4 minutes left to play here in the third. Lamar looking to generate some offense, finding themselves down 20-7. Well, after moving the ball at will in their first possession, SFA has to punt it away. Lamar comes out, starts their possession on the 20. Coleman straight drop, looks deep, goes downfield, Ray's there. Basket catch down the sideline, 20-10 into the end zone is Savannah Ray. Savon Ray just caught it over his shoulder. Coleman, perfect pass.
Excellent execution there by Lamar Cardinals right after the turnover of plays, giving it back to the offense. Well, we wanted to see what Lamar can do to energize this crowd and get it back in it. Well, Robert Coleman goes deep to his big target, Ray. Ray locks the ball in to be able to catch the pass in the man-to-man coverage and nothing but daylight and real estate as he walks into the end zone for the Lamar Cardinals.
80 yards, one play on the scoring drive, and Lamar right back in the thick of this one. Can cut it to 6, and there's a look at Savon Ray being congratulated by his teammates. PAT partially blocked and is no good.
Wow.
That could come back to play. Of course, leaves it at a 7-point game. Ray, great catch.
Yeah, that was great execution. All on all levels. Up front with the offensive line, with Robert Coleman stepping up, big in the pocket, and Ray separating himself from the defensive back.
There's a look at the block. Hard to tell. Looked like it hit the upright. It did.
Yeah.
I never saw anybody get a hand on it, but it hit the upright and goes sideways. Again, there's a look at Ray walking the sidelines. Not only was it a good it was a good pass. That was a well-thrown ball. And then he just kind of tight-roped it, tiptoed down the sideline for the score.
Again, it started up front with the offensive line to give Coleman the time to be able to find Ray, and Ray just did everything after that. He separated himself and be able to get the pass, but also use his speed to get in the end zone. Another look at it. Look at the blocking up front. Nobody in sight to bring pressure. Ray locked in on the pass and just took it all the way home.
And then once Adams committed to try to make the tackle, Ray was there was nobody who was going to catch him after that.
Yeah.
So good job to get behind Adams. Just look at some of the folks in the stands, kind of as you mentioned, off their hands and on their feet now.
It's homecoming. They want to cheer. They want to give them party. I mean, this great atmosphere, great weather. Alumni in town.
There you go. They know they're on the big screen.
Yeah, alumni in town, family and friends in town. Why not?
Well, now turn it over to your defense if you're Lamar. If you're SFA, you got to wonder where that lightning came from. Get back out there and kind of settle things down a little bit. I would think that, if you're the Jacks and you're getting back into this one, to me, this is one of those situations maybe you do want to grind a little bit. Give your troops, your defense a chance to kind of let the shock wear off and also eat up some time.
And they have the guy that can do it, and Jones. I mean,
Well, they
Jones,
do have that. He can more than just grind it out. He can eat you up.
Yeah, Jones right now, 16 carries for 106 yards and 1 rushing touchdown, averaging 6.3 yards a carry. And majority of those yards came in the third quarter, right after halftime.
Yeah, long of 34. And Vidlac, 19 of 28, 261 yards, 67% completion rate. Got 1 touchdown. Been sacked a couple of times. Lamar again with a 3-man front. Fakes the give, swings it out. Oh, missed play, and this is going to cost him big. You go back and you'll watch as the corner comes up and tries to make the tackle and completely misses and frees up. The receiver, there's Lewis. Watch this, all right? Swing it out. And the miss came earlier.
I want to say that was Lewis. You did say it was Lewis on that last play. Went for the shoestring tackle. You got to hit him up high, because if you go too low, you miss. That's what can happen. Opportunity for the receiver to be able to take it the distance.
It's going to bring up another good gain. It'll be 1st and 5 or 2nd and 5. The give is to Lewis, who just keeps churning. Or Jones, I should say.
Yeah, they want to eat up some clock on the road. You can feel the momentum creeping up. It's on the homecoming sideline right now with Lamar Cardinals. If you're Vidlac, just be patient and just eat up this clock and give it to your workhorse, which is Mr. Jones.
Vidlac, lots of time all day. Goes to his release valve and still a big gainer. SFA has had such a success with just the swing pass, just getting it out and letting the receiver do the work. They've got some really quick receivers. And as we mentioned, a lot of guys that came from D1 programs elsewhere.
And Dan, that's by design. You can see right here, watch this replay as Vidlac gets it, pump fakes down the field. Then he goes back to his check down to Harris because he knows that he has playmakers in space that can pick up some positive yards.
Jones picking up a few more on the first down, so they'll be 2nd and 6. See Caleb Williams, second team All-Southland Conference last year, not happy up front. Lamar looks like they're going to bring a little more pressure this time. Still going to manage to come up pretty close to that first down. Just swinging it out to Ty Love again. Doing what's worked so far, not going for, the deep threat. Keep it shallow.
Be very conservative offensively. If you're Vidlac, that's what they've been doing. Going down to the short to mediate wide receiver routes and just allow your playmakers to make plays. Harrison, again, more positive yards, getting it close to the first down. Just a quick swing pass out to Harris and let him do the rest. Actually, that picked up the first down.
It's going to be 1st and goal to go. Get another one of those drives. Started back on the 10-yard line. Actually, I guess started on the 25-yard line. Vidlac across the middle, incomplete.
He had Williams Jr. open down the seam route. Just a little bit too much mustard on that last pass by Vidlac. Give credit to Lamar, though, being able to just stand there and be able to live for another down here defensively. Just when you think Lamar's out of the game, they find a way to get back in it.
They do, but, at the same time, just when you think they're put away, here comes SFA marching down the field. There's a look at that. 324 yards.
Wow, that's another
for
game.
The transfer from Montana. Jones, he's in the end zone. You just almost feel like that's a far gone conclusion when he gets on the outside.
That's how you counter it. I mean, that's how you answer the call. Once Lamar puts up a big touchdown play like that, guess what you want to do? You want to be able to give the ball back to Jones, and he's barking at the sideline of Lamar Cardinals. Take a look at this replay here as Mr. Jones gets the football and just bounces to the outside. I'm afraid to bring him down because nobody from Lamar is able to bring him down as he gets his second rushing touchdown here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you got two guys out there to make the tackle, but by that point, his forward momentum, you're not going to stop him. So he goes in. That finishes up a 75-yard drive that went 9 plays and puts SFA on the board again, make it 27-13 with a point after attempt.
Yeah, it's tough to bring down Jones. I mean, I'm looking at his body size. I mean, Jones is 5'10", 242 pounds.
Well, and again, he comes with a pedigree. I mean, this is a player, 4 years at Baylor, played 32 games while he was there.
And look at the size. I mean, once he gets that momentum going, you know who he reminds me of running just there on that replay? He looks like a little bit of Marshawn Lynch a little bit.
Well, he does. He kind of has that same body style.
Same body style, same momentum. And once he gets going, it's very hard to bring him down.
Kobe Carthel walking the sidelines, got to be happy what he saw on that drive because the offense and the offensive line pretty much manhandled Lamar.
That was a great way to counter the energy and the momentum Lamar thought they was building up from that touchdown pass to Ray.
Yeah, it kind of sucked all the air out of the stadium, and they kind of put it right back in there.
And it just feels Lamar's not designed offensively, not designed to come into a shootout. You know what I mean? Like they're not touchdown for touchdown type of team. They have to have some kind of consecutive stops to be able to build off that momentum that's created offensively. And when the Lumberjacks come out and just hit you right back with a touchdown, it tells Lamar now that we're in the shootout. And let's see how offensively if they can be able to bounce back with Robert Coleman and company.
Yeah, because the big strike you can't depend on that.
No,
100%. You know.
And that's like, once in the blue moon you get one of those big shot plays like that you got from Coleman to Ray. I mean, you get luck twice. I mean, you never know.
It can happen. It's just statistically the odds are not in your favor.
That's correct.
So with 50 seconds left, Lamar takes possession at their own 25. He's looking across the middle, finds his intended receiver, the tight end. And the catch is made by Ja'Cory Hyder.
That's not good.
And Hyder has been injured this season. The junior out of Woodville, 6'3", 240.
Grabbing that right
knee.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to see.
No. Robert Coleman comes across the middle. Crossing route. Yeah,
he just went hard down on the turf with it. Medical staff is out giving a look, and coaching staff's taking advantage of the time. Kind of coach up a bit. Again, if you're just joining us, Dan Gresham along with Lemont Williams here at Provost Humphrey Stadium in Beaumont. Rekindling of an old rivalry between Stephen F. Austin and Lamar. Of course, geographically speaking, it's not that far between the schools. Always has been a great rivalry. We mentioned started back in 1951.
Wow.
When both of these schools were not, I don't think it, my understanding is being what they called at the time senior colleges. We had junior colleges and you had technical colleges, but the two teams have been playing ever since.
A lot of history.
37th time these two teams have faced off.
There's a lot of history between these two programs.
End around coming, some room, daylight's there. Nice juke and move. And going to advance it all the way down. Looks like maybe to the 47-yard line is Dennis.
You give a handout to Dennis while he's in motion, coming from the left back to your right to give him some momentum, and that's all he needed to be able to get spring free to pick up the first down going into the fourth quarter.
And that'll wrap things up for the quarter. So we'll take a break. They'll turn things around. We'll see if SFA can hold on or can Lamar mount a charge. We'll find out. There's a look at Andre Dennis's numbers on the afternoon. So 15 minutes left in this one, and SFA holding on to that 27-13 lead. And we're seeing Jacoby Longino in at quarterback for Lamar, and we've mentioned this earlier. Kind of think of him as being the running option, and he certainly did that time. So look at third quarter stats, and you can see that this is all
impressive third quarter there by
SFA. Yeah.
I mean, you see
time
that
of
out the
possession.
Gate. Yeah, time of possession, passing 120 yards. Impressive drive there to be able to come out and reestablish yourself at the halftime.
Another strike by Coleman, finding his big tight end and picking up the first down.
And then there's definitely a sense of urgency right now if you're Lamar Cardinals, led by Robert Coleman. You got to be able to be efficient on offense and move the ball down the field. Hopefully you can get a touchdown as well, because this is the fourth quarter. Homecoming for a lot of seniors on this team for Lamar that might never play this game ever again. So you want to be able to go out with a bang in front of your home fans.
See Robert Griffin standing on the sidelines as Damian Moore takes the carry. If you're just joining us, it's been SFA on the offensive almost from the opening kickoff. Scored twice in the first, once in the second quarter, came back and scored again in the third to make it 19-7, and then with time running out in the quarter, yet again to make it 27-13. Oh, in and out of the hands of Isaiah Jones, but Jones really skied for that one, trying to make the catch.
It's been a while since we called Isaiah Jones' name for a while. With the pump and go play by Robert Coleman, you want to utilize the 6'3" wide receiver, but he's not 6'8". You're throwing it too high for Robert Coleman.
He made the jump, but was covered up by the cornerback.
You got to give him an opportunity to make a play. You can't throw it that high if you're Robert Coleman. I can feel why Isaiah Jones is a little frustrated right now on the sideline. Good keep.
It's going to be enough for the first down, though. It's going to bring up a third down situation.
Actually, then that was a third down. This is going to make it a fourth down, which is going to be forfeiting a four-down territory for Lamar.
Yeah, but they got to go for it at this point. When you're trailing, a field goal is probably not going to do a whole lot for you.
No, not at all. I mean, you got to be able to manage the clock as well. You remember Lamar burnt the timeout right in the third quarter to try to take a look at a replay and lost that timeout. So clock management is huge here in the fourth quarter for Lamar being down.
Coleman looking, going deep for the long ball. Going to have pass interference. Yeah. Defensive back had his back turned to the quarterback.
Never turned around, made a play on the ball. Face guarding the receiver, Ray. Ball goes well. Lamar gets another opportunity with a first down.
Pass interference. Defense, number 29. Penalty is 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That is a risky play to run, though. Your fourth down, you're thinking just get the necessary yardage. Lamar goes for the home run.
Yeah, and it worked in their favor this time around. You can see the defensive back never turned his head, never identified the football.
Never a doubt about that one when you saw him going backwards, and we're talking about Mike Patterson, the cornerback. So First and 10 at the 13-yard line. Longino going to pick up a few. He knew he was close. He was one arm away from breaking it into the end zone.
And that's the frustrating part for Longino because he can feel it. You know, if I can get past this one defender or this arm tackle, I can bust it open for a touchdown or break loose for a touchdown. And give credit to the Lumberjacks. They've been doing a decent job in open field with their tackling, especially in the second half.
Got a whistle blowing before the play starts. I think it's an injury timeout, maybe. I think we have a player down on one knee on the far side for the Lumberjacks. Now he's up and walking off the field. So that if you're the offensive coordinator, Chris, that gives you just a couple more seconds, to get that. Let me talk to you real quick.
And then I think it's the senior territory. You got to give it to from out of Tyler, Texas. You got to give it to Kalen Griffin. I mean, we haven't said his name in quite some bit. He's not in the game. I can see Damian Moore coming in, but whoever's at the running back position can help you here get closer and closer to that goal line or even walk into the end zone for a touchdown. Don't be cute in the red zone. Just go with the basics. Lean on your offensive line. I mean, you got a really good offensive line if you're the Cardinals, and you utilize your running back.
Snap, give us to Moore, and SFA camping out and waiting for it.
But then the SFA says, Lamont, we have a really good front seven.
Yeah.
And we will shoot these gaps and bring down whatever running back that you're selling. You're trying to pitch to everybody that's watching this broadcast because they just shot all the gaps and brought down Damian Moore for little to no gain.
Xavier Potts in there to make the tackle, among others.
This is huge here for the Cardinals.
So again, no gains, so it's third down and a long 8 in the red zone. Coleman, lots of time, flicks it out.
Flag.
Yeah, I think that when you look back, you see Jadon Southard kind of had to slow down the receiver. He knew he was going to be beat.
Has to be hit with a holding call.
Pass interference, number 5, defense. Ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
So Jeremiah Walker, the senior out of Houston, called for the pass interference. And Lamar gets a fresh set of downs.
They're getting every break that they need if you're Lamar.
Yeah, if you're Lamar, you certainly are. And if you're SFA, you're thinking, what else can happen to us?
Look at Ray at the top here, at the top of your screen, man-to-man coverage. I will utilize that if I'm Robert Coleman.
Instead, they go to Moore right up the middle.
I believe Griffin has an injury or
well, he's standing right there by the coaches on the sideline, but I'm with you. I can only assume that there must be an issue.
Yeah, because
when you've got your dominant leading rusher
right there. Nothing against Damian Moore. I mean,
no, and I think Moore, has certainly done a good job. I mean, I think the question just is,
where's
when you have a guy who's been averaging better than 100 yards a game, Griffin's only had 6 carries for 35 yards. Give us to Moore again.
Well, the reason why I say this is a perfect example, right? You have to go with the stretch running play with Damian Moore, which you have to be gap blocking to be able to create running lanes for him to be able to get into the end zone. Where when you have Griffin in the game, he's a north and south runner.
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead. Just give me a crease and I'll make it happen. And that's the difference between the two different in the running backs. But again, no Griffin in the backfield. We see Coleman, number 0, in for the Cardinals.
So obviously there's an issue. But the Cardinals are going to have to find another way to get it done. Coleman looks into the end zone. Got some time. Now he's in trouble. Still on his feet. Gets free. Looks to the end zone, but has the pass blocked, and I think it's going to be
roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer, which I'm not sure about that myself.
You or Jermaine Brown, their top linebacker, out of Mansville, Texas.
Well, I just, I guess it's the way the game has changed, though, and it
Personal
has changed.
foul, roughing the passer.
See, to protect
Number 0,
the
defense.
quarterback.
Penalties
In
after this
old
to the
school,
goal.
that would have
Automatic
just
first
been a
down.
good play. But in today's rules and the way the game is played, that is roughing the passer. See, that would just been a good hard-nosed hit.
Well, then also he did lead with his hands to the face.
And
So-
it was face-to-face contact. I think that was also part of it. So that'll bring up another first down. If you're SFA, you got to be saying, how many chances can we give you?
Now, if you're a Lamar Cardinals fan, you like how many chances you need to get in the end zone. And there it is. I thought
Nope. It's Longino, and he crosses the pylon.
Wow.
Should be a touchdown
There it
as he
is.
gets on the outside. There's the indication.
He faked everybody out, including the cameraman and Longino.
I think he faked out the analyst. I'm not sure.
I thought Daniel Moore had the football, and Longino said, no, wait a second here. The junior out of Missouri City, Texas, watch this play. Good sailing fake there.
Just bounced it out, way out. Now it's a foot race, right? Can I get in before you can tackle me, Josiah Cotton? And the answer was yes. So Lamar now really needs this PAT.
Plays under further review.
I was going to say. Yeah.
Well, I think you have to.
Yeah.
I think, if you're SFA, why wouldn't you? You've got it. All you're risking is a timeout and a review.
I mean, it was a close call now. I mean, it took a while for them to get up and make that call for a touchdown. Let's take a look at this replay.
I'm not sure if you're going to know from this angle. I think you almost got to be a down the line.
We'll see.
I mean, he's inbounds. He crosses. He's in the air, so I don't think there's any doubt.
I'm a betting man. I thought
I think your
call
money
on the
is
field
on.
your
money's on touchdown.
Yeah, the call on the field stands.
That was quick, and I think they're going to go with you.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
There it is. Well, it doesn't hurt for trying.
No, well, I think, like I said, you don't have any choice. At this point, 9 minutes left to play. It wasn't clear cut.
Remember, Lamar missed that PAT.
Yeah,
the
another
last
one
time
could really haunt you here. You'd keep it at 7, so at least you would have the tie. Got to wonder if that's in the head of Chris Esquita, the kicker.
Oh.
This one is tipped.
It was tipped,
but it's still good.
You can hear the tip from all the way up here in the
you
booth.
could, but it's still good. So it's a 7-point ball game with 9 minutes left to play here in Beaumont. Well, they're on their feet here in Beaumont after that touchdown by Lamar. Cuts the margin to just 7 points. Again, we've talked about how this has been a give and take. Let's check in with Bob Slovak down on the sidelines.
All right, Lamar is not going away in this game, guys. Down 27-20 now with 9 minutes to go. 9 minutes to go. Okay, so they get the benefit of some big SFA mistakes there on defense. Those penalties kept that drive alive. Now it's up to the Lamar defense to really keep this game going for the Cardinals. They got to protect the perimeter. That is what Coach Rossamano's been preaching all week to them. Let's see if they can do it and send this homecoming crowd home on a winning note. Dan?
All right, thanks, Bob. Again, that last drive by Lamar, 12 plays, 75 yards, 6 minutes and 50 seconds. And as you said, certainly benefited from 2 big penalties there in the red zone. Vidlak with some time, but forced out of the pocket and coming to make it. Apparently it is the homecoming dance
I told you.
that we're seeing. That's Faulkner, the linebacker.
Faulkner showing that quick closing speed at 6'1", 225. Take a look here in this replay as Faulkner, number 17, will come right here in your picture, closing in on the quarterback, bringing him down for a sack. And doing the celebration homecoming dance.
Yeah. Next play, manages to get it back to being a 3rd and 13. And for Lamar, that's what they needed. They needed a big defensive stop here.
Yeah.
You know, take a little air out of the offense for SFA.
This is it. I mean, if you can get it to stop them and get them off the field on 3rd and 8, bring that pressure from the outside.
Yep,
that'll work.
Showing blitz. Vidlak throws it short, knocked down, incomplete, as Raymond Stevens reached in and slapped it away.
One of the toughest cornerbacks on that secondary for the Lamar Cardinals had an injury, came back from it, and had the closing secondary coverage there against the receiver in the man-to-man coverage. Give credit to Stevens not reaching in and staying home. Turnover, I mean, now forcing the Lumberjacks to punt the football.
Something they haven't had to do very often this afternoon. Snap a little high, but the kick is a good one. It's going to be fielded at the 35, and almost immediately Fusilier is taken down. So Lamar will go to work at their own 37-yard line when we come back. Crowd out for the homecoming activities here on the campus of Lamar University, where their team, again, trailing by 7 as we head into the final moments of this one. Interesting, you know, I'm not sure why or what, but there's Kalen Griffin all of a sudden back on the field, picking up a tough 4 yards.
Maybe he wants to close it out in grand fashion, you know, that type of thing. He's a senior, and this is homecoming, so Lamar needs to be able to feed the beast, give the ball to Kalen Griffin. But an excellent pass there with the pressure coming in from the pass from Coleman to Dennis. This is the game is in Lamar's hands. I mean, if they lose this game, it can come down to just this series here alone, because they done fought their way back into this game, Dan, the old-fashioned way, and it's 7 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Only down by 7 points.
Griffin back out of the game. Lamar now going Xavier Coleman in the backfield. Coleman wants it all, goes deep. Pushing and shoving going on, not going to get the call. Lewis streaking down the sidelines.
And I think that's
Jones,
fair.
I should say.
And Dan, I think that's fair. I think that's a good non-call.
I agree.
Both players were being aggressive from the line of scrimmage, man-to-man coverage. Jones at 6'3", had his hands on the defensive back, and vice versa. So sometimes as an official, you got to let it play out. I mean, wasn't something that you know, over the top where you had to throw the flag.
So it'll bring 2nd and 10.
Griffin time. Griffin time, Gad.
Big gainer for Griffin all the way out. Looks like he probably has the first down. Depends on where they mark it.
Yeah, this is Griffin time. This is the fourth quarter.
They aren't going to give him the first.
If I'm Griffin right now, I'm looking to the sideline, say, continue to feed me the ball. Do not stop giving me the football. Watch this play here as the counter comes around with the blocking, and watch Griffin does all the work from there on. He'd be able to lead in and be able to pick up that first down and move the chains for the Cardinals.
Now 8 carries, 49 yards. Coleman quick, gets it out to his big tight end, Ja'Cory Hayter. It's nice to see him back. He went out with a knee issue earlier. Is back in the game now.
Kind of scared us for a quick second, and he's back in, active for the offense. I like the play call that I'm seeing. First, it was a run by Griffin to be a hard run to pick up the first down. Go with a quick pass to your tight end. I'm assuming and betting that they're going back to Griffin on this play here. I guess I was wrong.
Little swing pass. Get it out to Jaden Boyd. Sophomore from Longview picks up a couple. So it's going to be 3rd and short. I would think it's Griffin time.
Now this has to be Griffin time.
Yeah, but that's why you change it up, right? Because everybody's thinking the same way.
Well, then you have to impose your will, I think.
Well, yeah. Sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't.
We'll see how this plays here.
This time I think you do it, and you just let him follow his. Like you say, he is a north and south runner, but he's also a slasher. I mean, he gets to the line and finds the weak spot and probes it and takes advantage of it, and he did that time for a first down.
I tell you one thing, the Cardinals fans are on the edge of their seats because this thing is coming down to the wire. Lamar setting this thing up to be a nice finish here for the home.
Well, you know, and I'm already jumping ahead. There's Griffin's numbers on the day. I'm already thinking, okay, so you score. Now you're in the predicament, do I kick it and tie it, or am I going for 2 for the win?
I say kick it and tie it. I mean,
that's me, and then we'll see what happens in overtime.
You let it play out in overtime.
Just saying, that's the dilemma that coaches face, you know, when you get into a numbers game.
I'm pretty sure they're probably talking about it already in the headsets. If they do.
Oh, no, I assure you somebody's already talking about it. On the SFA sidelines, they're talking about what do we got to do here. How about that shot? Nice play to Ray downfield, just slants across the middle, and Coleman zips it to him.
Unbelievable play there. Unbelievable pass by Coleman to Ray. Watch this play here. Watch the quick sling there by Robert Coleman. Actually, that's the handoff to
follows
Griffin.
it. They follow it right back up with the handoff to Griffin.
But that's quick sling by Coleman to Ray with that tight man coverage. Watch this here. Watch Coleman knows that he's going to his playmaker. Talk about a gunslinger. Wham! Just throws the ball across the middle in the seam route, knowing that traffic's going to be there. Well, his only person to catch it was Ray to be able to extend his drive.
Longino comes in, give Coleman a rest, and add another threat to the offense. Damian Moore also in the backfield. Longino does keep it. Now a rugby scrum going on in the middle of the field. See who can push forward.
I really believe that the Lumberjacks know once they see Longino comes in, they're not threatened by a pass. So they're going to load the box up and just take their chances with Longino running the quarterback keeper. I'm telling you, Lamar's done an outstanding job finding a way to bounce back and get into this game. The game could have got real bad from the beginning.
Yeah,
but for them to stay in it, settle down defensively, offensively start to click, and now offensively have the chance to tie this game up, at least get 6 points to be able to go into it with the overtime opportunity. Oh, man. Overtime opportunity if they can get into the end zone.
Coleman's pass deflected. And that's going to bring up a fourth down situation. But Lamar can achieve a first down.
I think it's all or nothing right here.
Apparently they're rolling the dice. And there is no Kalen Griffin in the game for Lamar. So this could be it for the Cardinals.
Keep your eye on Ray at the bottom of the screen.
Throwing it into the end zone and out of the end zone. So 2:25 left to go. That could do it. If the SFA offense can eat up some time.
Yeah, Dan, that's tough there because you had Ray at the bottom of the screen that you could have went too early, but then you have Isaiah Jones at the top, and he tried to throw it at the last second.
All right, 2:25 to play. We'll see how it all shakes out as we continue. Seven-point ball game with 2:25 to play, and SFA takes possession at the 6-yard line. No, not content to run it, but instead to pass it. But notice the smart decision
to stay in bounds.
Yeah, exactly. By Kylan Harris to stay in bounds. So again, we're coming down to timeouts. Got a chance. Let's look at what's happening in the standings coming into this game. For Lamar, this is their first conference game. For SFA, they've already played 2. And, you know, of course, we'll see how it shakes out. But SFA has a chance to be up there right at the top.
And look who's at the top right now. I mean, I know ACU has a really good ball club this year, and they're sitting at the top of the conference right now. And it's really good to see ACU, formerly known as HBU, in the Southland Conference.
Well, it's always interesting to me, when you look at overall versus conference. 4-3, McNeese is the best record overall, but yet they're 1-1 in conference. And who did they lose to?
I want to say Stephen F. Austin.
There you go. Let's see what I think. SFA at this point, you're satisfied just to run it a couple of times, right? Pick up a first down.
Makes sense. That's the conservative route I would go if I'm the head coach for Stephen F. Austin right now. Run it with Jones. He's been your impact player the second half, coming out the gate at third quarter and just never looked back as far as running the football. And forced Lamar to burn all their timeouts.
Yeah, they're going to have to use them right now for sure. When they look back on this game, both teams, what do you think Pete Rosamondo and his staff are going to be talking about if this goes down the way it's looking right now?
If it goes down the way it's looking right now, offensively, you got to find a way to execute and finish off drives. You talked about this last drive stalling out after going 55 yards. Find a way to insert some more plays to be able to be effective, especially in the red zone going forward. Defensively for the Cardinals, I mean, they settled down. They got to find a way to be able to get off to a better start defensively going forward. And that's basically what you got to build upon if the game ends as of right now. Uh-oh, did he fumble?
I don't know if he fumbled, but certainly it stopped him short. Lamar wants the fumble, but I think they're saying they forced a fourth down.
Which looks like they're going to have to punt the football.
And if that's the case, they'd punt it away, and you still got 10 minutes to play.
Actually,
so maybe
2 minutes.
So I'm saying it's the 2-minute timeout, so you don't even have to take a timeout.
Oh, gotcha.
Right? So we'll take the break. We'll come back. See how this all shakes out. 2 minutes left to play. You're watching Southland Conference football on ESPN+. All right, there's this decision-making process going on. Punt, whistle blows before the kick is off. Yeah, before we get cards and letters, and I just wanted to clear up the fact that we were talking about McNeese and Houston Christian. And what I was trying to say was that the only game that McNeese lost was to Houston Christian. Yeah. So that's why when you look at the standings.
Clock to 2 minutes.
All right, I don't think there's a penalty involved. Maybe the snap before they were ready, because they're resetting it at 2 minutes. So now it's down. So now Lamar's going to have 2 minutes.
Another chance.
And another chance. I mean, boy, if they had second chance, that might be the theme of the game. This one is definitely going to bounce against Lamar. I mean, it's going to roll for the Jacks. Took a bounce at about the 38. It's going to wind up being downed at about the 27, 28-yard line.
Yeah, and it looks like Lamar has to come out in their 2-minute style type of offense to be able to move the ball down the field. They have to pay attention to the sideline, get out of bounds if they have an opportunity to stop the clock.
Yeah, you would certainly think lots of quick outs, to eat up some yardage, get down the field. SFA will be back in action, as you can see, against Southeastern on the 19th, 4 o'clock game. Also seen on ESPN+. Griffin in the backfield, gets the ball, stopped almost at the line of scrimmage, maybe 2.
Yeah, and that's going to force the team to get back to the line because you're losing time on the clock here. I mean, you got to get back to the line of scrimmage with Lamar right now.
Were you thinking element of surprise? Thinking they're going to, and now you go in the middle, fumble, and I think that's going to be called an incomplete pass.
The last two plays, I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit. You go with the running play, then you go with the quick. Robert Coleman decides to go across the middle. You got to stay close to the sideline. Time is not in your favor, or timeouts.
So there's the next game for Lamar at Texas Commerce coming up on the 19th. That'll be a 3:30 start time again, also on ESPN Plus.
There it is.
Oh, Coleman before his receiver even turns around, so that's a quick 3 and out.
Yeah, you got to pay attention if you're the receiver at all times in 2-minute offense.
At this point, Lamar's got no choice. They have got to use the 4th down. Now they're either going to have to go with a home run ball or at least try to find something that gets you the first, keep you alive. And Ray will come into the game. Be the single wide out to the right, trips to the left. Coleman's got time, got an open man. Caught, but not out of bounds for first down.
Looks like it was Jones.
It was Isaiah Jones with the catch.
That was a good pitch and catch there to the 6'3" wide receiver for the first down.
Got to go hurry up across the middle. Pass is complete.
You got to get back to the line of scrimmage with Lamar.
Now, are we going to have the injury?
You got to get up or get out. It's going to be a 10-second runoff. Okay, he's back up.
Time is running, 50 seconds. Now the whistle. Yeah, trying to get off the field is Ja'Cory Hyder, the tight end.
Yeah, he took a shot across the middle when he caught the pass. This has come together, kind of regroup here. But, yeah, if you're Lamar right now with 48 seconds, you cannot afford not to get out of bounds. Or if you don't see anything for Robert Coleman, you got to throw it away. You can't just dump it down the middle and think that's sufficient because it doesn't help you with the clock.
Yeah, it's all about clock management at this point. Some wholesale changes going on for both teams. 2nd and 4, that's not really the issue right now. Coleman, again, across the middle.
It is. Catch it, so that helps stop the clock there, Dan.
So now a 3rd down situation. Again, if you're just joining us, it's been give and take, but SFA has been in the lead from the beginning of the game, never relinquished it.
Never looked back after the opening drive of the game. Take a shot down.
Again to the middle.
I'm assuming the middle works for them to be able to pick up the first down, hustle down to get to the football. So I'm starting to understand, I guess, the game plan for that.
And then just down it.
But then
now you find yourself again staring down the barrel.
I get it because the chances of you getting a reception and getting close to the first down is probably most likely in the middle than doing a jump ball situation on the sideline. And the only receiver that they can depend on the sideline like that with the size is Isaiah Jones. So it makes sense to go across the middle, I guess. But you got to be able to do clock management. That's the most important thing.
Coleman under pressure. Dumps it down, finds his receiver. But again, the clock continues to run at 15 seconds. Going to have to get the snap off. They do. Going to have to throw it out just to stop the clock so you get at least one legit last chance.
I mean, you got to go deep. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I'm not saying anything that everyone doesn't know. You got to go deep, and either you find Ray or Isaiah Jones in the back of the end zone.
Coleman, 21 of 37, 268 yards and a touchdown. Of course, had the long strike to Ray. But this time, again, you got to go Hail Mary. That's pretty much all you got. 6 seconds left. And now you may have to do it from a couple of yards further back.
Timeout.
Out.
Just got to make sure you got all those bases covered, right?
Absolutely. You do not want to be able to give up a touchdown here on the road.
No,
Not force an overtime
That was 6 seconds left. Quick reminder, a couple of the broadcasts coming up this week for Lamar. In fact, coming up tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, we'll be back out at the pitch for Lamar soccer. The women taking on McNeese to wrap up the homecoming activities. And then later in the week on Thursday, Lamar volleyball team will be at home in McDonald Gym, 6:30 start time against Southeastern Louisiana. And boy, what an exciting year for the program for volleyball, and the first year of Ariel Apollinario's tenure as the head coach. It's the second year for Pete Rossamondo, and a lot on the line here.
It is right here, Dan. Comes
And
down
it all,
to this.
as they say, it all comes down to this. Wow, how about that? Okay, you get 2 more seconds after going to Fusilier.
And right there for a quick reception to get out of bounds to the 20-yard line. That helps Robert because he's not a.
Now you don't have to heave it 50.
Yeah, you don't have to heave it 50. And it definitely looks like the Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks secondary is improving touchdown defense because everyone's back there by the goal line.
But still coming with enough to put pressure on for rushing.
Another timeout by the Lumberjacks.
Yeah.
Can't take them home.
Yeah, exactly. Can't put it in your pocket when you walk out, so they'll use it. Fully understandable. While we're talking stats, and we'll talk about stats real quickly while we got a second. We mentioned coming in, we knew that Sam Vidlac was the real deal. Well, this afternoon, he goes 26 of 37, 329 yards, 70% completion rate.
That's another game. He had 4 consecutive games before tonight or this afternoon.
300 plus.
300 plus.
Yeah.
And he had 307 last game and with 4 touchdowns, and he continued that streak.
Well, I think the other notable is Quinlan Jones.
Yeah.
21 carries, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns at a 34-yard. For as far as receiving goes, Harris, the leader for SFA, 10 for 106, and here's the ball game. There's the buzzer going deep into the end zone and out of play. And that will do it.
That would
As
definitely do it.
SFA rolls into Beaumont and pulls off a big win. Both teams coming in with similar records, but I still think you'd probably call it an upset just because A, Lamar's at home, and B, they're a nationally ranked team.
Yes, absolutely. Great job. Hats off to the Lumberjacks. Came in, stayed focused from the beginning, and was able to come in and still a victory on homecoming from the Lamar Cardinals.
Let's go down to Bob Slovak. He's standing by on the sidelines, Bob.
All right, well, Lamar playing uphill the entire game. Once again, Lamar going down to the last minute. The last 2 games, they came out on top. This homecoming, though, they come up just short, 27-20. Disappointing, but you can't fault the effort of the Cardinals. Back to you, Dan.
All right, thanks, Bob. Yeah, and you're right. Certainly they are disappointed and will go home disappointed after failing to come up with the big plays there at the end of the game. But I think Bob also mentioned, and it was correct, that, they just got behind early, Lemont, and never could recover. I mean, almost from the beginning.
Yeah, they took a hard punch in the beginning with the opening drive. Give credit to the Lumberjacks that came out, played efficient football, showed a lot of balance in my personal opinion. I thought in the second half they utilized Jones more. That helped establish the running game. Vidlac did his thing in the second half, throwing the ball for over 300 yards.
Well, and again, Lamar had their chances for sure. And I think when you talk to Pete Rossamondo, that's probably why you couldn't ask for much more as far as opportunities.
Yeah.
And I think they again stepped up to try to catch up, and they just never could quite get it over that line.
You couldn't get over the hump.
Nope,
so
they really couldn't
happened.
after they got behind. So again, Cardinals will now fall to 3-3 on the year.
Yeah.
Jacks, of course, will improve not only their overall and go to 4-2, but they'll also improve their conference record, go to 2-1. So again, moving forward, should be interesting to see what happens as we move forward. Right now, though, all you can kind of do if you're Lamar is go in and talk about it and get ready for the next game.
Yeah.
If you're the Jacks, you celebrate, you enjoy the ride home, and then it's back to work for them as well.
Yeah, if you're the Jacks right now, you're celebrating all the way back to Nacogdoches, Texas. I mean, you got to be excited. If you're Lamar, it's tough. You got a lot of seniors on the team. It's homecoming. Man, that's tough.
All right, so let's wrap things up here in Beaumont. Again, the final score, 27-20 is the final as we wrap things up here in Beaumont on this homecoming weekend. So for Lemont Williams, along with Bob Slovak, I'm Dan Gresham saying so long from Beaumont. Again, the final score, 27-20 SFA. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.